僕にしかできないんだ。やろう、デスノートで世の中を変えてやる。
Hello and welcome to the finals of Heroes Celebrity Clash League, the league with all of your favorite celebrities in the Heroes of the Storm community. My name is Not Paradox, and I'll be casting this lovely event here with me. Some call him the greatest caster, some call him the greatest showman, some people call him the Lord of Icecrown Citadel. Wait, that's Arthas. The man, the myth, the legend, Bahamut. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm super excited for our grand finals. We've had so many good weeks of games. We've had so many good games, but it's the culmination. And we get to this. We get to our final night for season 1 of CCL, and I've been itching for this all week. Paradox.
Definitely. I'm so excited. These finals are going to be crazy. We have two amazing teams. We had maybe a little bit of an upset coming up to this, and we are going to be having an amazing best of 5. So the format of this event was a round robin. We've talked about it before, and that round robin has allowed each team to play against each other. Every team was able to play against every other team, and now we are in the grand finals. What do we know so far, Baha, about what's happened with these two teams that we will be seeing today?
I mean, we've seen them have dominant weeks. I mean, the KTL specifically have had 3 dominant weeks of games. I mean, they are 3-0 right now. I don't believe they've lost a single game here.
They have not. They haven't even dropped a single game. They have not lost a series. They've not lost a single game. Because it was best of 3s, they are currently 6-0, even against the team that they are currently playing against, which is Upstanding Citizens. So the teams we will be seeing today are the KTLs. On that team, we have Tatski, we have Kagirii, we have Lakefu, we have LeonBlack, and we have Liam. They are going to be going against Upstanding Citizens. And on that team, we have Turk, Mewnfare, we have AlexDidz, Aullora, and Coffee. These two teams have had their own strategies so far, and it's going to be fascinating to see how they handle this. The schedule today is simply just going to be these two teams in the grand finals in a best of 5. And the prize pool of the winning team is a culmination of a set amount of money that was initially put up, but also everything that you guys have done so far and everything that you guys are going to do today, as far as donations, as far as bits, as far as everything else that you guys can do, will add to that prize pool. 60% of everything that is going in will add to that prize pool.
Let me cut you off there.
Oh, sure.
Cut you off there real quick. If I were to give maybe 5,000 bits, would that be going towards the prize pool? Because AdMech just gave 5,000 bits as we get into this.
The prize pool. AdMech, thank you so much. You are already doing it, and 4 votes for KTL from you. It's going to be an interesting game. But yes, that all goes towards the prize pool. Currently, we have $2,662 that have been added, which means that 1,600 of that, give or take, will be going towards the prize pool. 35% of that, we've got caster math going on. It's going to be a little wild. Will then go towards the winning team, while the rest will then go through 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. The more you donate, the more this encourages these players to come back, or this event to even keep running. Because honestly, Baha, we love this event, but we don't even know if we want to do it again, right? I mean, Baha, is that we don't even know, right? So either way, that is the prize pool, but that's not the only thing that's keeping this event going, right? One of the things that we always want to thank is our sponsor for this event, which is Duke Cannon.
You've never heard of bits from Casper. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. Casper's bringing it already. We are what, more than a third of the way. We're almost halfway. We're more than halfway. Caster math again to our goal already. That is amazing. Thank you, Casper. But speaking of our sponsor, Duke Cannon. If you've never heard of them, they are an awesome hygiene brand. They are manly yet sophisticated. And don't, honestly, for all the girls out there, don't think when I say manly, you can't do it, because they've got some awesome scents. They've got leather, which smells awesome. My favorite is the freshly cut pine. And you can head over to their website and you can save 15% by using our code HHE15. You'll save 15%. Check that out. You can also donate 1,000 bits and you'll get a big ass bar of soap to use as an emote for whoever you would need. Whenever we talk about a big ass bar of soap, you have to spam it anyways. So make sure to donate bits. Check out Duke Cannon. It's an awesome brand. And then let's talk about our teams really quick. So what I've seen from the team so far, KTLs, we've got a dominant tank, right? LeonBlack. He can play anything. But there are some interesting things that just happened in the patch today, right? One of the interesting things that just happened in the patch today, we had Stitches get a little bit of a change. So we may be seeing something with the Stitches. We saw Cho get a little bit of a nerf. So even though he had that awesome Cho'Gall build, it's a little bit weaker now. However, on the other side, who is their tank? AlexDidz. AlexDidz dominated in the previous week by doing main tank Uther. Well, guess who just got nerfed in this last patch? Uther. He lost 75 health. He lost 2 seconds, or his cooldown for his stun is now 2 seconds longer. So both of these tanks are in an odd position where they will need to adjust the things that they've played in the previous weeks, and they will need to change a little bit. But I am very excited to see that. As far as the healers, because we know the tanks go in, the healers know when to get out, right? Who are the healers on both of these teams? We have, on one side, we have Lakefu. She can play any healer. We've seen it. She's been changing healers nearly every game. Ariel 3 times, dominated. Then after that, changing up healers every single game. But it looks like we might be getting into draft. So we'll talk about that further as we get into
While we get into draft, hold on.
Yeah.
I've been watching chat because I'm running production stuff in the background. Hold on. We got Matlock with 10,000 bits coming in.
Oh.
We have a hype train going. We have Dave Extreme with 1,500 bits. We have got Klaus with 300 bits. We've got, I'm doing some caster math. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6,500 bits from Angry Dwarf. We've got a huge hype train going on with Walking Wumpus with 500 bits as well. 400 bits from Blonde Duchess. I think that's everything in there. There was some money that came in as well. $37.61 from Ari. But we are here on Battlefield of Eternity Paradox, and we need to talk about the map. Thank you for everyone for all the donations. We'll try and catch up onto those as the game progresses. But we're going into this draft
there
right
it
here.
is.
Yeah, I was just about to say they're actually talking about this on the Turning Point. And
They were.
I mean, do you think that it's something they have to ban out?
Well, the challenging part is that Liam he can play every solo laner, right?
Yeah.
So the challenge is you're banning your rel, and you're just giving him something else. Did you waste a ban on it? I don't know. What I can tell you is that on Liam's journey to hit #1 in North America on the leaderboards for Storm League, he has an 87 win percent with Urel. That's a good pick too. Here we've seen 90,000 hero damage on Li Ming, but he has an 87% win rate with Urel on his main account, #1 GM. So yeah, I think it's worth the ban, even though he can play any other solo laner. I definitely think it's worth the ban. Now the real question is what is AlexDidz going to pick to try to throw a wrench in their plans? I really liked it. There's Aulora's Ragnaros. That's always good. But I really feel like he should pick his tank here. Ooh, I like Tychus.
Now,
Turk
do you
plays a
remember-
mean Tychus.
Do you remember the week big Easy Money? I was gonna say Big Easy Money, but Easy Money went up against Upstanding Citizens, and Turk actually played the Tychus into Kyle Ferguson, who was on Thrall, and that was the first Hollow game. And do you remember watching Turk push Kyle Ferguson back on Thrall bottom lane for the majority of the beginning of the game? So I'm so excited about this Tychus, but a Garrosh and Raynor on the left-hand side coming out. So Raynor got a mega buff today.
Oh yeah.
Hit level 1s across the board are buffed.
All of the level 1s are very strong. Remember, so this is Battlefield of Eternity.
Yep.
Raynor now at level 1 can do 400 DPS sustained to the Immortal by himself. I just checked this out today.
Exterminator's
that is
wild now.
Insane race damage. They also have Li Ming, who's great for the poke races when you reach stalemates. So this is gonna be interesting. I love Garrosh in the Tychus because bigger they are can get Tychus or get Garrosh really low, but then it's very hard to finish Garrosh because he's got that extra armor. Plus, Garrosh's range is about the range, or Garrosh's Q range is about the range of Tychus, so he can quickly just hit him. I love the Joanna ban because that's one of the easiest ways to answer Garrosh's throw. So overall, I love the KTL's draft right now, but at the same time, I love seeing the Turk sneak out with the Tychus that we've been wanting to see again. But I do also want to bring up something about Coffee. Alarak is amazing on this map, and he dominated with Alarak on this map. But Coffee is actually on he's currently traveling, and his ping is very unstable at the moment. So I don't know if we're going to be seeing those combo mages out of him. He decided to pick Greymane, amazing race hero as well. So I do think that was a really solid pick. It's going to allow him to get a feel for his internet right now, and also allow him to still get a lot of race. You see Stukov as well.
I want to shout out the fact that there's so many bets coming in. We can't catch all of these, so we really appreciate everything. But Arnie with 5,000 bits a little bit ago. Thank you so much. I also want to point out the fact that we have already hit our bit goal for the evening. We are 124% at that goal. So thank you all so much for helping us hit that immediately. That's a Decker, Kane, and Thrall to be grabbed right there. So Thrall for the soul lane, more sustained damage coming out from them. A good bruiser as well allows them to be also able to poke at some people with that chain lightning, and you also have the feral wolf to be able to lock someone down with the root, and that allows Raynor, Garrosh, Li Ming, all of them to step up and or get a combo onto said target. So a lot of play coming out from that Thrall, as well as Decker Kane going to be able to follow up onto that. But that ETC to finish things out, as a disruptor, I think it works really good. Maybe they can power slide into the backline a little bit, push Garrosh around potentially. Like maybe they wait for that toss and then power slide through, pass through Garrosh and maybe get towards that Raynor, get towards that Li Ming. Because right now everyone's talking, how do you get past that front line? And maybe this is the case. Maybe some disruption, maybe pushing people around is the answer, but it's going to be, as they were talking about in the turning point, I think it's finding a way into that backline. But Leon and Liam are so good at defending their backline players, and Lakefu's just a goddess at healing in a sense.
Oh, I completely agree. I've always thought that the answer to such a heavy front line and how well they've been playing is macro. Try to disrupt them so they have to send people and split people up. And then if Liam starts double soaking, then you have an answer to that front line, because now they only have a single frontliner, and you can kind of answer it differently. But at the same time, I mean, that was Trixler who was talking about that on the turning point, about they need to find a different way to disrupt that. You can't just push it out of the way. So I do think that we've got a lot to look forward to about how they answer this. With that being said, we are getting on to game number 1. On the left side, blue team, the KTLs. We have Liam on Thrall. We have Tatski on Raynor. We have Kagirii on Li Ming. We have Lakefu on Deckard. And we have LeonBlack on Garrosh.
And on the right-hand side, we got the members of Upstanding Citizens. Aullora is going to be on the Ragnaros. We're going to be seeing AlexDidz on the ETC. Greymane to be played by Coffee. We have Mewnfare on the Stukov, and Tychus to be played by the Turk. Let's go ahead and I think we're going to jump into bottom lane first here and see what we get for our first little engagement, because obviously we already see on our mini-map that it's going to be Thrall going into the Ragnaros at the start. But actually, I'm watching minimap. Hold on. LeonBlack is going to be coming up here. I think they're going to try and make a play onto Aullora at the start here. Let's see what happens. Leo's just trying to bait them in with the dance and the spray. Yeah.
I think ultimately Aullora is going to play a little bit safe in general, because while she's a very good Ragnaros, I mean, playing against Liam is terrifying. So I think ultimately, as long as she can hold the lane, get to the levels where she feels like she has more of her build completed, then she'll decide to play more aggressive. So LeonBlack decides he just can go right in. Turk goes in. I love Mewnfare immediately silencing where the Turk ends up getting thrown, making it to where anyone who's melee will be silenced and won't be able to follow up with any extra CC. So I really like that play style.
That's a really good tactic to constantly be throwing out. Leon is actually going to be chasing Alex right there, forcing them back, forcing them out of the lane in a sense. So that gives a little bit more time for Tatski and friends to be able to clear this up. Now Tatski did go into. I was looking at talents for a couple seconds there as I missed the Thrall going down in top lane, but Tatski not going into the Exterminator at level 1, going to be opting for that Ace in the Hole. But that Ace in the Hole did have an update today where when you hit someone with the pepper, you actually put a 10% slow onto them, allowing you to have more sustained chase. We'll see if that works out for them. But right now, Leon is taking a lot of damage. Coffee goes in. And that's going to be another kill for the members of Upstanding Citizens. They go up 2-0 in this game.
Definitely. And that's a great way to start, especially when you're going against this team that drafted so well for this team comp. They are automatically starting off really strong. They're ready to go. And yes, I mean, that ace in the hole is very, very strong right now. So it's hard to not take that talent, even though Exterminator also did get buffed there. You get to essentially trigger your own 15% increased damage. And also you slow by 10%, which is pretty good because if you can slow maybe even the ETC by 10%, then Garrosh can get a nice throw. So there's a lot of different things that you can utilize that. And I don't know, I'm really excited to see that. I do like this start. We do have a bit of a engage going on. Turk is really far out of position, heading pretty much away. Ooh. That's going to end up having Turk getting taken out at the turret. But so that'll end up being a 2-1. I think they got a little too carried away. But at the same time, I mean, this game gets really going in about 5 seconds when we do see the announcement for the objective. When the announcement arrives, this is when teams usually decide on where they want to go, what camps they want to pick up to try to gain an advantage for this first objective. Most teams will take the bruiser camps, or at least the shaman camps on this map. And ooh, that was a nice kill with up top. But they normally take the shaman camps. They will push endlessly. And whenever they are pushing, you will find I don't know, Baha. How are you?
I'm moving around fine.
Interesting. Anyways.
Oh, we have a pause.
We've got a pause.
Well, I mean, for the start right now, this is pretty good for both of these teams. I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strong start. It's 2 up on both sides. I'm actually going to jump over and look at the experience coming in. It's neck and neck roughly. I mean, we're about 600 difference, and we can see a little bit coming in from the hero kills. But overall, I mean, it's a very tight race, and that bit of a gap that they started to form with those early 2 kills didn't really yield them anything else. But right now, I think we're actually ready to go back into games. So I need to count things down, and we can go ahead and get on into this as I push the wrong button.
Yeah, so both of these teams did end up picking up their bruiser camps. These bruiser camps push endlessly until they are stopped, because they will continue summoning things to tank turrets, and those things will end up killing the turrets. And whenever they die, they summon more of them. On this first objective, it comes down to which team wants to race, which team wants to fight. It looks like Aullora is getting pushed out of position, gets caught in the root along with ETC, gets taken out, and now ETC is out of position. That reset from Kagirii allowed her to pick up a second kill right there, and that is a 2-for-0 trade. Now that experience lead that was on the opposite side is now on the side of KTL, and in this case they are going to begin racing. They don't have those bonus race talents, but at the end of the day, 4 people racing versus no people racing is still going to be pretty favorable. But we do have the Stukov and the Greymane still trying to do their best to keep up with the race. But again, 4 versus 2, only so much you can do. Right here, we do have Lakefu going in for a big slow into a possible route. Leon ends up pulling him out of the route, but into a really rough position. And it looks like...
Oh, Leon's actually somehow getting out of this. Lakefu's got a lot of good healing under them. They're trying to actually chase this. They're going to split from the friendly team and just take that death. But while they were chasing that Paradox, they're able to jump over to the Immortal phase and race that down.
And this is the crazy part. So this is actually one of the first big mistakes that I've seen from Leon out of the entire series that we've watched. Leon actually pulled out of the Deckard route, which is a longer route than the Garrosh stun even is. And then once they pulled him out, Mewn was easily able to just simply walk away after the stun was over and not have to worry about really anything. And then we had Turk just go through and melt Garrosh, melt the Deckard, and they were perfectly fine from there. So I think they're going to require just a little bit more coordination. It can't just be Leon doing all the work. And they need to be willing to work on... I mean, Lakefu landed an amazing route, and it just got a little bit of uncoordinated play right there. But overall, I mean, here's another possible route, hits the ETC, but at this point, they need to deal with this objective as soon as possible.
They're going to be able to burn this down without a problem, and this is pretty much your standard first Immortal phase. Probably is going to get most of the front gate. If maybe oh wait, hold on, that's a great toss onto Mewn right there from Leon, and they're going to find a kill onto that Stukov. Very well played. But Paradox, I actually want to talk about something really quickly because this is pretty much the end. We're going to reset the map. We're going to go back into cycling around, grabbing experience and stuff like that. Ruby at level 4 was taken for the Deckard Cain, and I was actually talking about this on stream last night. I think a lot of people undervalue Ruby because I actually did a comparison at the point, and so like at one point when I clicked on it, Deckard Cain was healing 380 per potion. If they were spawning Ruby, they were actually healing for 340 per one little jar from that Ruby. And it's wild how undervalued it is just because of literally the size of it. But right now,
here's the thing. Ruby's actually been like that for a long time, and I've always said that Ruby is the best talent in paper and the worst talent in practice. Now, I'm not necessarily meaning that it's bad, but what I'm saying is that oftentimes you don't want your potions to be in place. Placing down the potions is one of the most underrated things in different locations. You never want to place a potion that's going to force your team to go into a bad situation to grab it. So if you're not constantly running a full dive comp and having everyone dive, most rubies just sit there without ever being picked up. And that's the big challenge about that talent, is it can be amazing, or you could simply just get way more effective healing by taking any other talent.
Well, we do have
it's a very tricky talent, but I like the way that she's playing it with LeonBlack, because LeonBlack is getting more time to pick up those potions. So in this particular scenario, I do think that Lakefu picked a really good talent for this particular spot. So while I have said in the past that it's a great talent on paper and a bad talent in practice, I think that she chose a great game to pick Ruby into, because did you see Leon felt unkillable? He walked through their whole team and then lost half his health, picked up a bunch of little rubies, and then he was good to go again. So I really like how they have that set up.
You know what? We're gonna go ahead. I was gonna say, like, we can talk all about Ruby right now and how they're actually working with that so well. But we have an immortal phase. Let's go ahead and jump into the comms of Upstanding Citizens.
Oh boy, that's like, what's going on with these guys?
All right, let's start moving in on them. Thrall's top. Okay, perfect. We'll look for a fight.
Yep, here we are.
Go straight. Maybe catch the bottom. No, just DPS. Thrall's earthquake.
Fuck, I'm gonna get stunned here.
I got slapped. And I'm dead.
I literally can't move.
Alright, our camp is getting more value. That's good.
Interesting calls right there. Yeah.
They started rather strong in that, and they had a bunch of plans, and then they kind of fell apart when the enemy team just disappeared. And they said, all right, we'll just race. And they all got really clustered on that race. And then what did we see? An amazing Deckard route into a wild sleep, which interrupted Mosh at the same time. And before they knew it, their 3 members of their team were dead. So
AlexDidz had an insanely good mosh. Unfortunately, it was one of those situations where I think everyone had their own idea of what they wanted to do, and Alex was like, I see a mosh, I'm going to set my team up. But we were listening to the comms, and there was no, I'm going for mosh, I'm looking for mosh, I'm, because that's what we typically hear from a lot of shot calling is, the main tank is saying, like, I've got this ability, like, Diablo's a good example of that. I'm looking for a shadow charge, I'm looking for an apocalypse. Same thing with ETC. So I'm wondering if maybe there's just a little bit of, pre-game nerves. It's game number 1 of a best of 5 series, so they're just kind of warming up a little bit here. But right now we actually have a huge stay while and listen coming out from Lakefu. That's going to be Ragnaros going down. AlexDidz very low as well. Kagirii getting a reset. They're actually going to throw Liam in there, but they're going to be forced back by Mewn with the flailing swipe, and that will be second immortal phase going over to the side of the KTLs.
I think that Mosh was interesting because his whole team got hit by Root, and he saw that. I think he was ultimately using the Mosh just to try to Mosh both of their damage, because that way his team wouldn't die from being stuck in that Root. He Moshed both Raynor and he Moshed Li Ming, but then he ended up getting slept. So it was a solid defensive Mosh, something I would say one of the more underrated Moshes, right behind maybe solo Moshes, but overall, I mean, it was pretty interesting. It's just getting a little unfortunate. Now, we do have a lot coming out here. We've got
my God. Oh, that mosh pit was so good, but it was immediately interrupted by LeonBlack, who just happened to be on the far side of that as AlexDidz needs to get out of here. But now the Immortal Phase still pushing through. The Ragnaros Molten Core goes down, and that's going to be Tychus getting out of there as they do lose their Commandeer Odin form. Mewnfare is going to be getting the Blast Wave from Aullora to get them out of there a little bit safer. But this is a top lane fort going down during our second Immortal Phase. Paradox, that's a very good push coming out from the KTLs.
Oh, yeah. First objective of the game usually gets about front walls. In this case, it did get about front walls. Second objective of the game, you can usually get a fort, but it really depends. But they played that really well. Even against a Molten Core, even against a Commandeered Odin, they were still able to take a full fort without losing a single person, and against a mosh pit on 3 people. So overall, I mean, very, very powerful. When I saw the ETC in the draft, I was like, man, it would be rough to take mosh. There are a lot of interrupts, and he still went for it. But I wonder. I mean, I wonder if stage dive would have actually been the call for this game.
It's possible. I mean, stage dive would have been a good tool. I think mosh pit has value. If they're able to get another mosh like that, and I don't know if maybe Leon doesn't have the groundbreaker in time or something like that, that could have been devastating. But to be able to get that interrupt immediately was so well played. Like, I'm still like reeling from how good that mosh was, but also how good Leon played the interruption onto it as they pop the Indomitable, gonna get the Warlord's challenge, wave of force from Kagirii, and they solidify the kill onto ETC with a stay while and listen from Lakefu as well. Laura's gonna get the blast wave to get them out of there. Coffee trying to run away as well. Commandeer Odin was used, not gonna be getting hit by the groundbreaker. Looks like they're gonna be able to back off just fine. Actually, no, they're gonna be continuing to step forward here. Can they find a toss onto someone? That's the big question. It's going to be onto Moon, and they're going to be focusing them down. That's a very good call, as there is a lava wave through bottom lane, but that's not going to be forcing back the enemy team anytime soon.
Definitely not. And this is looking like it's going to be a reset on the Coffee. He gets 30 health. Turk will end up going down, but we do have Liam just quickly trying to pop an Earthquake, maybe sneaking a kill onto Coffee, and also possibly taking out Aullora. The root ends up getting missed, but she is in a rough place. At this point, it is going to be a very difficult game to try to come back from with the Upstanding Citizens, because they're down 16s, they're down 4 people, and it is currently in an objective phase. So it will be a matter of how fast can they race this down, and what can they do with it. They're going to most likely have a full health, relatively full shield Immortal pushing it. It's going to be pretty brutal.
While everyone's kind of respawning, it'd be kind of a good time to jump into the KTL's comms and see what they're thinking as they're getting into this later half phase.
Here, come here, follow me. Just burn, full burn, full
That
burn.
makes me nervous.
I'm heading over.
I'm just gonna stand here, just scare them, but just go full burn.
I'm here.
You got it.
Fine, yeah.
Kill them with 16 after we get this.
Just making them back up.
It's almost done. It's gone.
They might be. Oh no, they don't.
I have EQ in 30.
Alex is coming down bottom.
Careful, I got reviews for ya.
Ooh. Alex gone.
We get the sidewall down, I can EQ flying.
I have Hyperion if we need it.
You can just hit this. Yeah, use Hyperion on keep.
Fine, I'm just stacking. Can we get the wall down so I can EQ?
Yeah, use Hyperion now.
Yeah.
Hit the side wall, the small wall.
I still have my wave up.
Okay.
I'm waiting for that to turn to a big pot.
One coffee maybe.
Yeah, boost speed.
Looking for a review.
Coffee's low.
Coffee
Sorry.
just ate him. Maybe we want to back out just here?
Yeah, I'm backing up.
Yeah,
I'm
just run.
backing up.
Just a little bit.
I messed up my W.
It's fine.
It's honestly just going back and forth. It's so interesting because while the KTLs are playing very, very well, they do seem to make little mistakes here and there. And whenever they make those mistakes, Upstanding Citizens is very quick to punish those mistakes. One tiny mistake leads to a kill, which then leads to a fort being picked up. So the KTLs know exactly what to do. I think that at the moment they're just trying to work out a little bit of kinks in their team comps, because they do have a couple people adjusting on their rosters. And I think, again, Coffee's playing really well. I think whatever hotel he is at, that internet is good. I need to figure that out, because hotel internet for me is usually terrible. So whatever he's at, I mean, props to that.
From my understanding, he actually rented 6 rooms, and he got the Ethernet cable and plugged it into a switchboard, and then plugged that into his computer. So he's essentially using 6 rooms worth of internet to have one quality internet possibility. I did my best with that one. As they're gonna go ahead.
I did not know that. I thought he was at a hotel. Yeah, no, he should be fine then. I mean, playing very, very well. Coffee's been able to punish several mistakes this game. Now, just look at this possible flank that might be coming in. Leon Unstoppable immediately goes in, doesn't get the taunt off before the slide goes, and we do have a pretty interesting fight. Liam is really pushing forward. But all of that is essentially negated by one simple ult coming out from Mewnfare on that Stukov.
It's a smart pickup from them because Mewn is really good on that healer role, even though he despises it. But also it acts like, think of Falstad with Gust. You gust away the horrible situations you get into. Somehow Vesper's living through this and ends up turning around and getting a kill onto Coffee. AlexDidz split from the friendly team, does go down on the left-hand side, as now this is a 5 versus 3, and Turk is still stepping up as they find the corner of the Groundbreaker onto them. They're going to keep chasing into Aullora. They throw them right into the stun from Lakefu, and they find a kill onto Ragnaros, reset after reset for Kagirii here, as the Immortal phase has come back once again. Third one of the game, and it looks like the members of the KTLs are easily going to be able to grab this.
Definitely. And again, this is going to be another difficult Immortal. Now, this Immortal should be heading top lane, so it will give Upstanding Citizens one more time to defend, and it will be kind of interesting because we will have Molten Core available for that next fight. But it will be, again, a really, really beefy Immortal. Last time, there was a little bit of race that did end up happening, so the Immortal only had a 40% shield, but this time for sure, it will have a 100% shield. Remember, the way this shield works on this Immortal is that it will have a ranged attack during the duration that it has its shield. That ranged attack is going to mean that some of the people are going to have a much harder time DPSing it if they have lower range. For example, Ragnaros, if you don't Molten Core, is going to have a rough time, and it's going to kind of force the Turk to use Odin to do what they can to try to DPS it from a longer range. And they need to drop down that shield as fast as possible, or this could be game, because this is also level 20s being given to the KTLs before this push.
Earthen Shields for Thrall. That's going to be just more sustain for the friendly team. Now, I usually do this throughout the game, but I forgot to earlier, so let me just quickly run through these. Thrall has already finished level 1, the Echo the Elements. The Groundbreaker was finished up by LeonBlack on the Garrosh. We already have the Ragnar's finishing level 1 as well as Stukov, but right now we currently have the Immortal pushing in. There's the Hyperion coming out as well. Molten Core was used by Ragnaros as that Fetid Touch, as I said, being finished out already. Toss goes out onto the ETC as they also go ahead and get a Warlord's Challenge onto them. They're trying to get away. Unfortunately, that will be the kill onto ETC. First one of this push up as the Earthquake was proccing. They're giving shields to the friendly team with that Earth and Shield as we discussed before. Keep goes down and the members of the KTLs are stepping up towards the core and they're looking to potentially take game number 1 in our best of 5 series here, Paradox. Let's see if they're able to do it.
I mean, this is still a very healthy Immortal. This is still level 20s. This is a 4v5, and you have Molten Core already down. I do not see how this game... Oh, that was a great sleep that stopped Coffee from jumping in and doing a lot of damage. He will... That is game. GG in favor of the KTLs. I mean, that was absolutely brutal, Baha. It did go back and forth. I loved how Upstanding Citizens, even when they were behind, when they did find an opportunity to do anything from that, they were able to push and get value out of it. But at the same time, I mean, they really struggled in those fights. Having LeonBlack on that Garrosh without really having a lot of answers for Garrosh was very difficult because LeonBlack would always, he just threw ETC. They would just kill the tank every time. ETC ended that game with 7 deaths. And it's because ultimately ETC is one of the squishier tanks in the game. And if he's CC'd, what is he supposed to do to try to get out of it? And that's really what they focused on, was they didn't really worry too much. They banned Joanna, which she's one of the better tanks against Garrosh because you throw, you shield, you walk away. And at the other end, they ended up deciding that ETC was the best answer for this. But he was just stun locked the entire time. Throw, stun, taunt, dead. 7 times that game. So what I'm hoping to see is AlexDidz looking at this and going, well, if Garrosh is being picked again, I need to pick something that can, with just a bigger health bar, right? I mean, a Muradin. Muradin just recently saw some changes. The possibility of a Muradin would be interesting.
I think like on the note of changes, we actually had quite a few to like Deathwing is considered a little bit lower, but I want to talk about Stitches. I want to talk about how Stitches got, and some people might just be like, "Oh, Bahamut, it's only like 5%." Right, it's 5% from 40 to 45, and then on the Pulverize, which was moved from 16 to 13, is from 75 to 80. If anyone wants, if you've ever had Earthgrasp Totem hit you from Rhaegar, it's like that with the Slam. But also to note, Slam has a cooldown on it as well, a cooldown reduction, if I'm not mistaken. And if you're able to get people in the earlier trajectory or cone, I guess you can say, from the Slam, you actually get a cooldown on that. So being able to slam constantly is a huge factor. And I bring all this up because I would love to see a Stitches come out for the KTLs, but Paradox, I believe we have a special guest with us.
I believe we do have a special guest. Guys, if you don't know who this is, you've been living under a rock. This is Trixler. Trixler has been a caster. Oh, wait, you don't know Trixler? So Trixler has been a caster. He's been an analyst, and he's been in the Heroes of the Storm community for quite a few years now, and he's been known as an expert on Heroes of the Storm. And he also has been playing in CCL on the team down in Dongle. Trixler, what is up?
Hey, I'm here to analyze all the information that happened in the last game. First things first, Lakefu's insane. When did Lakefu decide to show up and just slam out every support and dingle everybody without even thinking about it? Her sleeps were on point. She is a true boomer of this league, and we have to give her props. Honestly, MVP, destroying. Second off, I want to yell at my boy Turk. Listen, Turk, I'm glad that you came in and that you're excited to play, but you're playing a little bit too much keyboard warrior. I'm going to need you to play the roles that you are designated to play, all right? Show me this Tychus gameplay. Show me whatever, because all it does is inflame Lakefu, and if Lakefu's pissed off, you know you're losing the video game. So that's my analysis of what happened in game number 1.
Thank you, Trixler. No, I completely agree. That is, Lakefu has been dominating. Now, speaking of that, if you guys think Lakefu's been dominating, there is a little bit of a poll going on right now for the MVP of CCL. I would highly recommend everyone check out the poll. It is on Twitch. You can simply mouse over Twitch and then open up the Twitch picks area, and there is a poll that says, who is your CCL MVP? Feel free to vote there, and we will be doing some stuff with the MVP after CCL is over.
I leave now.
But thank you for coming by, breaking all that down in a very concise, easy manner. But he makes a very good point. Lakefu has been a dominant healer throughout all the weeks. And he was saying, when did she start doing this? I personally, week 1, she's been a dominant force since week 1, but I really think that it kind of creeped up even on the casters as well. It wasn't until week 2 and 3 where we were like, wait, she's insane. She's really good on her role, and it shows.
You know what I think it was? Is that the first 3 games that she played, she was playing Ariel. And I think we just went, oh, Ariel's OP.
Yeah,
and what we didn't realize is it wasn't Ariel that's OP. It's Lakefu that's OP. And that's kind of the thing that's so funny about that. But quick correction on Stitches. They did remove the CDR talent for Slam. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I used to love that build. I'm not here to correct or anything. I used to love that build. And they did remove it. So the CDR talent, that it's still there, but it no longer decreases Slam. It decreases your E and your Q, which is almost scarier if you think about it, because you get to slow someone by 80%, and then that you can just hook them, and it lowered the cooldown of your hook. So you're going to hook, slow them, lower the cooldown of your hook again, heal. It's terrifying. And we know LeonBlack loves Stitches, so I am definitely excited if he decides to bring that out. Game number 2, Baha. What map are we on?
We are going to be heading to Volskaya Foundry here, a nice brawly map. Now, Battlefield of Eternity, we have you have your solo lane that brawls out a little bit. They rotate in, they come in, they fight over the Immortal. Typically, solo lane splits off, and then you kind of have 4 push with the Immortal phase. Here, we're going to be having extended fights over these control points, which is going to be full 5v5s, which is going to be very, very interesting. I'm honest to God, when it comes to maps to jump into comms, Volskaya Foundry is one of those fun ones for me, because there's a lot of extended fights over these points, and there's also very... I wouldn't say last minute fights, but there's those detrimental fights where you gotta get in there. If you don't, then you're gonna be losing out the Triglav Protector phase, and if you also wipe, well, you're also losing a little bit more than just the Triglav Protector phase. So overall, I love this as a map. Good rotations, really good team fighting, but it is gonna be a bit of a different dynamic when it comes to the draft. We're not gonna be looking for immortal races. We're gonna be looking for a lot of sustained damage, some tanks that can really brawl out. Something like a Murden, as you mentioned before, might be a great option, but they're actually gonna be banning out Leon and Liam's heroes that they've been not wanting to deal with in a sense. But as they talked about in the Turning Point, it's hard to specifically ban out one player because of the fact that they're oftentimes really well versed on multiple.
I just wish AlexDidz. There we go. I was gonna say I just wish he picks Mal'Ganis, because that was my biggest fear right now, is that this is an amazing map for Mal'Ganis, and leaving LeonBlack with Mal'Ganis would be terrifying. So now they got rid of the Garrosh. They took the Mal'Ganis.
Yep.
Now LeonBlack, he doesn't like playing Joanna, but he does play a pretty good Joanna. And we'll probably have Leon pick later because he now has the ability to counter pick that he doesn't have to pick Urel every time. So we do see Li Ming or Kagirii picking that Li Ming, and we've seen her on this map before. 90,000 hero damage. I'm going to mention it every time because this is the exact map that she did that. Very short game, 90,000 hero damage when the second place only had 50. AlexDidz on this map, pretty good. Can have its challenges. We do see Leoric. And what are they going to sneak out here? They could take their healer now. Ana is banned. Lunara.
I wonder... I'm not 100% on this, but like... Because Cho'Gall did have a bit of a nerf today, as some are saying, which I don't know if I believe that just literally the one talent being changed from all the time to 60, you know, when the health pool is below 60%, if that's going to be like the big thing. It's like, well, he's no longer viable, because I still think he was still a dominant force. And the way that they're setting up the draft, it kind of is leaning me towards the potential Cho'Gall. Like, this could be. I mean, this could be a target towards Coffee on Greymane, because they did play really good Greymane in the last game, or it's a target towards the Curse Bullet. Also to think about Lifebinder from AlexDidz.
And there's the Gall ban.
Yeah,
so they saw that as well. So I was looking at that too. I mean, right after you mentioned it, I was like, that's certainly something that could happen. The nerf was rough, but it doesn't really kick him out. So this should be the time where LeonBlack and Tatski will take their picks. Most likely we'll see a Rainer, and most likely we'll see a tank of some sorts. Joe would probably be the best on this map, but I have a feeling he'll want to pick something other than Joe. Because okay, they're gonna wait. So Liam's gonna take Malthael. Malthael trades pretty well into Leoric and can do that double soaking that they need in case they want to just do like a 4-man push or really whatever. It also works out okay against the objective on the map, but primarily you use them for double soaking on this map.
I like the idea of them grabbing an Anduin here. The Leap of Faith could be really good if, you know, something like a Mal'Ganis is 2-stepped up, or Leoric maybe needs that Leap of Faith. And then something like a Kael'thas wouldn't be a bad idea, or even Jaina for some slows. Gonna go into the Lucio, and actually gonna be going to a Thrall, so I don't understand this game anymore. But the one thing I wanted to ask you really quickly is...
Stitches.
That's
it is.
We're good. We got everything we wanted. I'm happy. I'm a happy camper. Now, I want to ask you really quickly, looking at the Mal'Ganis stuff, because we haven't had much time to play this game since the patch came out. Mal'Ganis, he had a bit of he was pulled towards the center, if you will, or just, he was nerfed a little bit. How do you feel that has affected him in the style that he's being played, which is kind of that disruptor, like ETC, where he's just kind of going in there and he's just living within the enemy team, and then he usually use Fell Claws or Night Rush to get out of there. Do you think he's still going to be able to be that aggressive? Because it wasn't a massive nerf, but it still was a reduction in, I believe, his overall health pool.
Yes, it was a percentile nerf. So they took a lot of his major stats and they just dropped it. They dropped his damage, they dropped his health, and a couple of his overused talents like his ultimate ability. So that's kind of the idea of that. I think ultimately he's still going to be pretty strong, just not overpowered. But speaking of that, on the left side, we have blue team, which is the KTLs. We have Liam playing Malthael. We have LeonBlack on Stitches. We have Lakefu playing AlexDidz. We have Tatski on Rainer, and we have Kagirii on Li Ming.
On the right-hand side, we got the members of Upstanding Citizens trying to put one up on the board here in our best of 5. We've got AlexDidz on the Mal'Ganis, Immune to be on the Lucio, Coffee on that Thrall, Aullora on the Lunara, and Leoric to be played by Turk. And I gotta say, for a game number 2 here, I'm super excited about this. I have been so pumped about this Stitches since I was reading through the patch notes, and I was like, please, like, you and I were both literally saying in the channel earlier when McIntyre was streaming, like, at the same time we were like, if Leon doesn't play Stitches tonight, I'm gonna be a little sad. So now this is it. Like, this is the whole stream. Right, this is all we needed. We can end after this game, but either way, we will be having them all match up in mid. No one going to be... It's a little bit of a dance right now, but they're going to try and step up on the LeonBlack. A little bit of poke here and there, but what's the main game plan on a map like this, Paradox?
So ultimately, on a map like this, the objective spawns at 3 minutes, and you need to hold the objective for 100 seconds. The objective is a very large zone that you can kind of hide in little corners of it because of the size of the zone, and there are usually gimmicks to it with conveyor belts on all 3 of the objectives in different sides. Many teams like to collect a bunch of items ahead of time, which we've got a little bit of a fight down at bot lane. It looks like Liam's going to use the conveyor belts at this point, possibly hop back around them, and he's going to heal throughout them the entire time. that conveyor belt, the more creative you get with conveyor belts, the better. But it can also punish you if you're not paying attention. And it looks like he ends up getting taken out there. With that being said, you normally will collect the items on the map. The items are built into two different camps. The turret camps, which appear on both the bottom left and bottom right, those can be activated to drop down a turret that does quite a decent amount of DPS. And the heal camp, or the support camp, which will return health and mana to the entire area of the camp, which is about it's a pretty decent radius. I want to say it's a 10 if you actually add that up, which means which is essentially the initial range of a hammer. A little less than that, I want to say. But that is the basic idea. The final two camps on this map are siege camps that will push similarly to the other siege camps on maps. They outrange turrets, so you want to deal with them sooner than later, and you normally want to pick them up really early to get an experience lead, or you want to pick them up during objectives so that it adds a distraction during that time. Now, let's talk about Stitches, though. We've mentioned him a few times because of the patch notes. Let's talk about some of the things that he actually had changed. Level 1, do you see Patchwork Creation was picked up, which is not normally the talent that Leon picks. So this talent was recently buffed. They increased the amount of health gained back from minions dying and from takedowns, while at the same time, they are also going to... The other changes they made for Stitches is they moved all of his 13 talents to 16 and all of his 16 talents to 13, but then they buffed all of the talents that the new 16 talents, they buffed all of them in one way or another. Which the one that we've talked about a few times is the slow on W, where they buffed it to where it does an 80% slow in the entire range of his W, which is a huge range. And like you said, it's very similar to that totem build on Rhaegar.
Fight breaking out over the biotic emitter right now, as we do have one of the teams. Thrall's on point. They're going to get the channel over, but it looks like they've been forced out on the side of the KTLs, getting withered down there a little bit by Aullora, who almost got the hook, and you actually saw Kagirii throwing out a combo there as well. Thrall looking to capitalize on Leon's low health pool, but this will be the control point A up and available, and that will be the Turk already standing on that to get a little bit of charge. Now, the way that these points work is you can see that center point where around the A, where it's kind of glowing that orangish red, and as long as that's at a full fill, I guess you can say, or the bar's full, you get the full, you start to get charged. Once you lose that, or you can see it's being contested and as it's going away, that becomes a neutral spot once again. The other team can then try and capture it, and they will start to get charged themselves. So if you've ever wondered why it takes a couple seconds, that's the reasoning right there. But that will be 35% over to the side of the Upstanding Citizens, as they are going to be clearing out some lanes, getting that 7 talent tier, and they're going to be looking to re-energize themselves with a well tap and potentially re-engage on this point. They realize this on the opposing side, they're going to back off, and they're just going to try and get a little bit extra. Tatski getting pushed around right there, and they find a kill onto that Raynor. That's going to be second kill, but a hook comes out onto AlexDidz. They're trying to make their way out of there, but the Nexus forces aren't powerful enough. Those towers not able to get the amplified damage. They needed Tatski there, but unfortunately she was dead, so that will be charge going over to the side of Upstanding Citizens. But I don't think we're done with this one just yet. Tatski about to respawn, everyone kind of managing lanes, and I think we're going to get back into one more fight before this Triglav Protector is deemed someone's.
And definitely, it's going to be a very tricky one. I did want to mention something really quick about some of the talents that were picked up. There's a little bit of counter synergy. Reverse Amp does very, very small damage. It's an amazing talent. Actually, we've got a fight going on. I'll mention this later. We have a dragon coming out. We have a ton of damage.
Hook onto Coffee, pulling them back into the fight. AlexDidz did pop the Dragon Queen form, as you noted. Coffee so very low. Hearth coming out from AlexDidz as they just need to get back. Now, it's only 34%, so they still have a lot of time to actually get back in position. And since they didn't lose anyone on the side of Upstanding Citizens, this is perfect. They just need everyone to kind of get back, and they're going to be able to re-engage in this once again. But you were making a point, as it might not be the best time to bring that up, actually, once again, as they're trying to re-engage onto this. But it's... Oh, hold on. Actually, AlexDidz going to be going in there. Tatski has the knockback with the penetrating round. AlexDidz trying to get the Night Rush into a couple, but they end up going way too deep, and they end up going down right there. First kill for the members of the KTLs as they're looking to make a second one onto Aullora. They find the pop onto her, and that's going to be a third kill onto the Turk as well. Kagirii currently popping off, and I just want to note, she is sitting at 14,000 damage already. But we're making a point before we got into that fight.
It is such a small point. I love reverse amp. I love reverse amp on Lucio. I think it's an amazing talent. The only challenge is when you are on the team of someone who sleeps, because you do very light damage and you'll wake someone up doing about 7 damage. That's the only thing I wanted to bring up, but we saw such an amazing fight right there. So that's all I really wanted to mention about that. It's just a little bit of counter synergy, but we do have those level 10s. We did see Gorge being picked up. We have Last Rites being picked up, but the rest of the talents are being held at the moment, just to see essentially what they want to do.
Oh my god. LeonBlack literally got out of the Trigla Protector, hooked AlexDidz, gorged them, brought them back towards the enemy side, and then they jump back in the Trigla Protector. What is this?
That was wild. That was awesome, though. He knew he could land that hook, and he did it. I mean, it didn't do anything, but oh man, that was some flair right there. That was fascinating. That
was the biggest flex in Heroes of the Storm I think I've ever seen. Like, just to be able to like hook, gorge, do nothing, jump back in the Trigla Protector. I mean, the big thing is grabbing the well in top lane, because you're getting rid of the sustain during control point B for the enemy team. Meaning that if they want to. Actually, we have a pause, so we can talk about stuff at a little bit of a slower pace. But since they do not have their well in top lane, control point B is a little bit more difficult for the side of Upstanding Citizens, because if they do need to tap well, if they do need to, get mana or anything like that, they either need to Hearth all the way back to the Hall of Storms, or they need to back off to their keep or into mid lane. So that's really all they kind of wanted to get there, and I see exactly why they were kind of playing around in mid lane, maybe looking for that potential kill into AlexDidz. But if they were to try and step with the Trigla Protector, they might have gotten some damage on that fort, but it would have gotten burned down. They would have been very far forward in the lane. And if we're looking at the composition of the KTLs, they don't have a whole lot of escape. It's not like Stitches took Putrid Bile, and you have knockback from Raynor and Wave of Force from Li Ming. Whereas you have a Lucio who can boostio and they can chase you. You have Leoric who can Wraithwalk. You have Night Rush from Mal'Ganis. You have Thrall with Roots. You've got Lunar with a increased baseline speed to begin with. So I love the way they actually play that, because I was looking, I was like, oh, this is a flex. But no, they're playing really, really smart there on the side of the KTLs and saying, you know what, they can chase us down. Let's not extend too far. Let's utilize this, get what we need, and prepare for control point B, and maybe get an advantage with some of the kills in the later half of the game. But Paradox, I think the KTLs are playing this really well, but I'm not counting Upstanding Citizens out of this one just yet.
No, I mean, experience is essentially even. First objective is said and gone. Yes, like you said, it did create that advantage on the next objective in favor of the KTLs, but Upstanding Citizens, they're still in this. Experience is still on the same. They have the potential to really do whatever they need to, and they can essentially still win this at any point. We do see some of the level 10s that were just picked up by them, so now we will have Carrion Swarm. Yes, the talent was just nerfed, but it was a percentile nerf, meaning that it's only a light change to the amount of damage it was. We have Sound Barrier, so that can do a little bit of the anti-burst that we've been seeing from all that damage coming out from Kagirii. Well, now there's a chance they might be able to save someone. We also have Earthquake. If this game hits level 20, Earthquake is amazing. Even at this point, you can pop down an Earthquake to try to slow down a Gorge a little bit. Start off by the Wolf and root him, and then Earthquake, and now the Gorge isn't really going anywhere. And it's great against someone like Raynor, who doesn't really have an escape. It's great against a Dragon who has reduced CC duration, but when the Earthquake just stays there the whole time, that CC is not going anywhere. So it'll be great if they ever want to dive in, and their team comp wants to dive in. Mal'Ganis, Thrall, Leoric should all be going straight for their backline once we hit about level 13 to 16. We also have Leaping Strike, one more way to jump in there, and we also have March of the Black King. So no Entomb, but we've talked to Leon before, and Leon loves that March of the Black King. He thinks that it does a lot of damage, a lot of healing, and honestly, I've seen him play some really mean marches before. So with that being said, it seems like we see Upstanding Citizens game plan a little bit. Jump in, get a lot done, and try to overwhelm everyone as fast as possible. But I will say, as this game goes on further and further and further, level 20 is looking really favorable for the Upstanding Citizens, because March's level 20 upgrade does a lot of damage. Then we also have Earthquake, which is a lot of survivability. If this game gets to 20, I think that it's in favor of Upstanding Citizens. So I think ultimately the goal of the KTLs is to try to close it out as early as possible.
I just want to make a quick point, really, just literally a quick point. Last night, I was actually casting Vesper or Liam, whichever, it's the same person. They were playing Malthael a ton because URL was being banned out. How many, just out of curiosity, how many stacks have you ever seen on a Malthael? What's the maximum amount of stacks you've ever seen on Malthael Last Rites?
For Last Rites, I think in
a competitive game.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, in Brawl, I've seen it max, but outside of Brawl, I want to say maybe only 4 is, I think, the average, most that I've ever seen in competitive. I'd say average is maybe like, what, 2 or 3?
In Exactly, yeah, because I usually see 2 or 3. That's probably the max average. But last night when I was casting them, every single game it was 6. They played. It was a best of 5 series, and I believe in 2 of the games, because I don't want to spoil it, 2 of the games that were there, I believe they actually got to 6 stacks when they were playing on Malthael. So I'm looking at this right now, and I'm just like, we might be seeing that same thing, because it honest to God, it was absolutely wild. I was just like, there was roughly a 30-second cooldown on last rites, because it's 5 seconds for every stack you get. Now, also on that note, Malthael did have last rites change a slight bit today in the fact that it went from 65 to 70 seconds on that cooldown. So your max cooldown can be, 20 seconds, I think, at this point? I think is what you can max out at. So
I believe
overall,
so.
I'm excited to see how this works out for them. But while we're still in this break, while we have someone working on their headset, because we need to make sure that comms are working for both these teams, I think a big thing that we can kind of circle back is that we have a prize pool here, and you can kind of see below me that we've already hit our bits for the players. We're at 126% for that, and then we also have 48% for our cash money, if you will. But that money doesn't go to us. It's not like Bandit walks out of here with 44,000 bits.
Bandit walks out like a bandit.
Exactly, yeah. It's not like my dog's running out of here with all these bits. This money goes back into the prize pool. You've got 35% to first place with $500 on top of that. I believe it's 35% as well to second place with $200. I might be wrong on that, but actually, you know what? We don't have to talk about that anymore. But we just want to say thank you all for all your support. We're going to go ahead and get back into game. We're getting the readies up from both teams. We don't want to keep you from this game any longer, but thank you for supporting, and we just want to make sure that you all know that you can support. And this is going back towards the teams. It's not going to us, and we just really appreciate all of you. But the readies are there. 100 bits comes in from Mama, and we are going to go ahead and get on into it. So let's get the countdown going here.
Yeah, and I mean, as we're starting this, I did want to mention some other ults that were picked up. We did have the Lifebinder. It's great if you have one heavy frontliner that you just need to give all of their health back to. We did have a Hyperion and a Wave of Force. So some pretty awesome picks from both teams, and I think the strategies for both teams are pretty set. Overall, I mean, I think in general, we are going to be seeing a pretty interesting setup. Both teams are going for their turret camps. They want to get as many items available for this next objective. I think this next objective and the one after are usually some of the most important objectives of the game, because if you win this objective, it pretty much sets which team is going to hit level 16 first, which is an amazing power spike. And then the next objective is usually around level 20s. So, but we do have a little bit of an invade coming in here. Lunar is up top, so this is immediately going to be a 5v4.
Night Rush coming through. We actually have them stealing away the camp right there. AlexDidz in the back line. Moon is going to be... last right's going to go onto the Turk, and they find the kill onto Leoric right there. There was a Gorge onto Thrall. They're going to just pop them right in front of the friendly team. Coffee's going to get picked off as well, and that's going to be a couple kills going over to the side of the KTLs. We do have our Objective B coming up in a little bit here, so maybe we'll jump into comms around them, but right now it's just going to be capitalizing on top of the fact that you're able to get so much value. But Moon coming in here, AlexDidz joining in as well. They're actually going to force them back, and Lakefu being the target. Lifebinder going out, but it doesn't get the proc in time. They get the kill onto Lakefu there. The biotic emitter will be dropped as they get the Night Rush forward. Looking for Leon. They're going to force them back with the sound wave from Lucio, and they find his second kill. So a bit of a clap back, if you will, and very well played.
Now remember, one of the things the Upstanding Citizens has done really well is after they get a kill or two, they're great at capitalizing and getting something else. It looks like in this case they're going for just to see if they can grab Liam after all of those earlier kills, but it is always something that they can try to go for is if they do get this kill, what might be available? Can they just maybe set up for the next objective by also taking the enemy team's turret? Or maybe they want to just try to push down at bot lane and set up the third objective in case they need that. It looks like that's essentially what they want to do here is just clean up this bottom one. They could take out the fountain. While that doesn't really help them in this next objective, it'll certainly set them up for the third objective.
Yep.
And one powerful tool about doing this is if you can get this, that's actually a Gorge.
Moon is coming to the far side of this. They actually don't get the push. Coffee's being body blocked. They're capitalizing on the fact that he was so far away from the team, and they're actually surviving quite a bit through that, but that's going to be a reset for Kagirii once again. Chasing onto Aullora, I don't think they're going to be able to find a kill onto them because there's the boostio from Lucio. We do have control point B up and available. Leoric is actually not even going to be clearing the wave. They did rotate through said wave, so they do know that Leoric is the one up there, and they have to assume that the enemy team is just rotating up as they've been brawling out, so they're going to try and just move immediately onto Turk. And this is Vesper. You can see them. They're going to throw the last rites. They're trying to get enough damage. just barely, somewhere in the 400 range when it came to health pool onto Turk, but they're going to continue to force them back. Raynor is on the point currently, so they do have charge in favor for the KTLs. You know what? Who do you want to go listen to? Because we haven't listened to either of these teams on this map just yet.
Honestly, I mean, without the fountain available, I'd love to hear what the Upstanding Citizens have planned for this objective.
Let's check them out.
And then we go. Okay, let's head to the thing.
Okay. We're here.
I like
Winner
that.
takes
I
the
like
thing.
that.
Well, we need this kill. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm gorged. Can you earthquake?
Oh no! Oh no!
Sorry.
Okay, we just back off. Good. Okay, they used a lot of ults. We need to stay on the point. Just take point control.
Okay.
And stay on me so we get heals.
Watch hook.
That's a long
That's
hook right there.
You got fishing hook.
Yeah, you get it at 13 now.
Damn.
Okay, Raynor is really out of position.
Yeah.
Get Raynor. Chase him down. Tanks, you don't dive without us. Okay, we're going. Dragon.
Yeah.
Okay, point. Do not chase. Point. We're gonna get the objective.
Not chasing. We're good.
Nice job, guys.
I'm fine.
You're okay.
Okay, good. We're good. Everything's fine.
Okay.
Man, the way Mewn is calling this out, like, yes, he is calm, but he's also just calling things out left and right. He's like, no, don't do this, don't chase. We get this. Go for the dragon. Dragon died, and that is the shot calls that I love to hear. Is when you call out something and it gets done. You call a target, it dies. You call another target, it dies. I love that. So their team is Upstanding Citizens. They take to those shot calls very, very well.
Well, they grab their Trigger Protector. They're going to move on in through this top lane, and that's going to be a pause.
It will be a pause. A little bit of a DC, so we will pause until I'm assuming internet gets back up, because I did hear that there were a little bit of internet issues going on. So hopefully that internet will get fixed up pretty soon. But I mean, look at Upstanding Citizens, right? They were struggling a little bit, but they are doing really well, and we are at level 16s. Remember that I personally believe that their team scales a little bit better at 20. So if they can just keep that going and keep their lead, they're going to be in a really, really good spot when 20s hit. We did also see that fishing hook brought up. So while between me and you, Baha, we're excited for that slow on W. I guess we did forget to mention, Stitches does have fishing hook available at level 13 now. But hey, maybe we're the crazy ones. We probably are, honestly. We get excited about some really random stuff.
You did mention that 13 and 16 were swapped, so we'll just assume everyone knows what we're talking about. That's how it works as casters, right?
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, so far for our game number 2 here in Volskaya Foundry, it's been fairly back and forth. It's 6 to 7 in kills. You said it's even talent tiers, and this is only our second Trigla Protector of the game. Now, they're pushing on through top lane, and I wanted to talk to you really quickly about this, because there's multiple different ways you can run a control point B Trigla Protector, and I've seen it run basically 3 strategies. You go for top lane fort, and then rotate to mid, and then try and get some pressure on the bottom. You're essentially going for all 3 forts at that point, and typically it works out pretty well. You may be burnt out by the time you get to bottom, but they've already opened that up, so maybe they could look for that 3rd fort there already. Or you could be pushing straight through top, get the top lane fort, and then go for keep, so you have constant catapult pressure during the 3rd wave, during the control point C, or they just get control. They get the top lane, and then they end up kind of just bouncing around a little bit with it. But we are ready to go back into game, so we're going to go ahead and count it down and get us back into this Trigloff Protector. Already pushing through top lanes. Let's go ahead and get on into it, as we currently have... I think I might have broken obs there really quickly. Hopefully it's not... Okay, it looks like it's all fine. Anyways, top lane fort goes down, and this is... Coffee taking a whole lot of damage.
I love Mewn's ults. Mewn's ults have been just on point. After he hit level 10, they are really keeping people up. All these gorges are almost just being eliminated. That was close.
That was a pixel.
You did mention that there's a lot of different strategies for this one. It really comes down to what your team wants. If your team wants to play it safe, you normally will just simply do as much damage as you can top or mid, and then try to get the fountain bot. Because they already have the fountain bot, they can safely take both the fort, top and mid, and safely head down to bot without needing to worry about losing their protector. Teams that want to close out the game earlier usually will focus on opening up a keep, so that if they ever do win a team fight, they can just end the game. In this case, their team is late game. This is the best strategy for them, just opening up the entire map and giving them an experience advantage, getting them closer to level 10s. While on the opposite side, if the KTLs would have won that objective, it would have been better for them to try to open up top keep.
Top mid lane, we do have a fight breaking out that is going to be the Lifebinder onto LeonBlack right there to make sure that they're going to be able to stay alive. But hey, they were able to pull out a 60-second cooldown out of AlexDidz, so they know that if they try and fight again in the next 60 seconds, they're going to be able to capitalize on that right there. I want to quickly point out that I believe it's a 2-minute and 30-second counter until we get the announcement for our next Triglav Protector. So we should be sitting somewhere in the 16-minute mark in the game if my caster math is going to be correct. Well, hopefully it's correct right there. Either way, this will be our top left camp going to be grabbed for some pressure just to even that out. Because I was looking at the map right now, and it's like they have periodic catapult pressure coming through this lane, and they need to find out a way to deal with this very, very quickly. Because it slowly will amount to pushing onto their keep front gate, and during a control point C, you're at the farthest point of the map, and you can't really just rotate one out to go get it. It's not like during control point B phase where maybe you can rotate to mid or something like that. But it's a bit of a not awkward spot, but it's starting to become more and more comfortable for Upstanding Citizens in this game number 2 on Volskaya Foundry, and the kills are also showing that as well. Paradox.
Yeah, definitely, and it is, and I do want to mention something. Talents picked up. Leoric has taken all of the W talent. Ooh, that is a gorge onto Lucio. Can they stop him from getting into the point? And it looks like he might be okay. Didn't get the ult off, and that is also a heal camp that got dropped down, picked up by LeonBlack. And now they are in a really rough spot. Turret was dropped down by both teams. An amazing hook onto Coffee. Great root, able to get out using his root as well as using his Wind Fury. But he is getting slowed quite a bit, and it looks like this slow might lead to him getting possibly hooked again or just taken out. He only has one direction he can go safely, and that hook is going to just quickly pick him back up. And that is going to be rough. I mean, that is the KTL is essentially resetting whatever lead the Upstanding Citizens had it before that.
Nice use of the sidewall to get away from Vesper here as they self-cleanse. They're trying to chase. Oh, wait, they mount up. They also have On a Pale Horse at level 1, so they have increased base movement speed while mounted. Or excuse me, they have increased movement speed while mounted. And I thought they were going to go for that. But meanwhile, in bottom lane, Hyperion's going to be coming out. AlexDidz is going to pop into the Carrion Swarm just in time. Going to be able to heal up from that one right there. Going to get the Fell Claws into the enemy team. They don't have anyone else coming in. I mean, the Lucio and I believe Lunara is coming from the Hall of Storms, but still they have a ways to go. But here, we are going to be seeing our Triglav Protector up and available in the next 30 seconds or so. And now, they're going to open up bottom lane. And this is perfect. Oh, every time a hook goes out, I just get nervous for Upstanding Citizens. But overall, I mean, I thought Upstanding Citizens kind of had a grasp in this game, and it seems like it's starting to fall away a little bit.
It's tricky. I mean, we do have those 20s. That is a March with all the W talents available, meaning that is going to be a March that will do a lot of damage. That is also Earth and Shield, so this level 20 fight is going to decide quite a bit, and then also Seeker Swarm to essentially double, triple, quadruple sleep people, because you'll be able to sleep them, ult, sleep them again, and then follow up by another sleep. And it's going to be pretty brutal, but that's also level 20s being picked up by the KTLs as well, which means that we will have Ritual of Life, Lifebinder triggering 3 times. We're going to be having Repulsion, Shambling Horror, and No One Can Stop Death. All very powerful options as well. And so this fight right here is going to determine a lot about this game. If it's a 5-man team wipe in favor of Upstanding Citizens, this actually could be game right here. But at the same time, if this goes even the opposite direction at all, it could be very, very tricky. You have an amazing March.
Aullora, she didn't go down from there, right? But Malthael actually buys back in. Lifebinder going on to LeonBlack. This is Lakefu in a bit of a rough spot, but they're getting so much value from those 3 waves. They're getting pushed around right now, but the Dragon Queen is trying to get out of here. Nice wing buffet to force back the enemy team. Overtime comes through, and that will be the 3rd Triglav Protector over to the side of Upstanding Citizens. And they end up giving that away, but I think they realistically they had to, as Leoric is going to get hooked in, gorged. I don't know what they were doing over there, but they're going behind the gate. Do they have a Wraithwalk to get far enough away from this? Nah.
Nope. But, I mean, it is Leoric, so he can cheat about 20 seconds off of this death timer. But ultimately, he's still going to be gone for about at least 40 seconds.
Let's actually jump into the KTL comms while we're seeing them on this defensive foot.
Just burn
Just hit it. Just don't die. Just safely burn this. It's fine.
Wait, die.
Maybe.
At least they didn't really get anything out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I have Life Binder in 5 seconds.
I have hook on coffee. Ooh, he does it.
Just back up, I think.
Leo's up soon.
Yeah, we should back up.
Converted?
Literally nothing with that.
Alright.
Just gonna clear bottom out.
Alright.
Okay.
Turk sneaking in mid. Heads up.
Overall, I mean, still pretty calm. I think that's always something that fascinates me about the team, is that they generally are very, very calm all the time. It looks like they will be losing a keep, though, rather soon, so it's going to be a little tricky. But will they be able to retaliate? That is Aullora very, very low. Ooh, that was a nice ult. Got her out of that position, made sure that the front line was still in front. That was pretty solid.
Yeah, they did go that boundless stride at level 20, allowing them to be able to get the leaping strike onto a friendly unit or hero, if I'm not... Actually, it might just be only hero. Either way, hook comes out, connects onto Moon. They're going to get the Gorge. Stitches went to Shambling Horror, but that's a great night rush from AlexDidz to buy some more time. Earthquake going to be coming out from the Thrall as well. Earth and Shield going to be proccing, giving some shielding to the friendly team, as we also have the Lifebinder being triggered out. Not Kagirii getting so very low, as we do have the Malthael going down to the Lunara, and they did buy back earlier, and that's going to be Alexstrasza getting picked off as well. That buyback with no one can stop death means that they have an increased death timer by 25%, and you called it earlier, taking the top lane keep allows them to have an end condition, and they're looking to end game. LeonBlack in a bit of a rough spot trying to get their way out of here, as they do get a bite onto one. That's going to be a hook, but the Wraithwalk just in time from Turk doesn't allow that hook to come through. They set their sights on the core, and I think the members of Upstanding Citizens are going to be looking to put themselves on the board here and put up a game in this best of 5 series. But first off, they have got a lot to go on this core, as Aulora's going to get hooked in. That's a lot of their damage being taken away. Coffee's still in this core. AlexDidz very low. Kagirii trying to find a reset onto them, as they are trying to find a kill onto them as well. It's a 1v1, but they get the kill right there. Core at 33%. This is still going to be 3 members on the core. Mune is just riding around. This is Lucio. They actually find the kill into Stitches. Malthael does return as well, but is it enough? It's not, and that's going to be game number 2 going over to the side of Upstanding Citizens. It's 1-1. GG. Well played.
1-1, and that was a wild game. And I mean, I have to give a lot of props to Upstanding Citizen. They had a lot of times struggled, but they stayed in that game. I loved that first team fight. We listened to their comms. They were calling targets really well. They got a bunch of kills. That got them the objective that allowed them to get up to level 20. With level 20s, none of them died. Once they got 20s, they pretty much essentially just popped the Lucio ult, followed up by Earthquake. Once that Sound Barrier and Earthquake went out, no one on their team ever died. And then it was just a matter of Aullora on that Lunara, as well as Turk on that Leoric, dropping down people. But with that being said, we have, once again, Trixler coming in here.
Who?
So, Trixler, what do you think about that game?
Who's this guy? First off, this is going to be the one time and the only time that I ever say Twitch chat was right about something. So savor it if you want. Clip it. I don't care. The Yarel ban is actually an intelligent ban. It is working out here. I expected more out of Liam. I thought he would be much more stronger on these other characters, and he is not doing so well on the Thrall or the Malthael. Now, it's only 2 games. It's a small sample size, but the URL ban seems to be paying off. Also, second time, we need to point out how smart that draft was for the Upstanding Citizens. First off, I gotta yell about Aullora. Aullora on 200 ping is playing Lunara and is playing her perfectly. Have you noticed the wisp that she is working in every time there's a hook underneath a turret? She is taking a wisp and throwing it underneath the fort to tank the tower shot so their team can get Lucio up there to boost out a teammate from getting hooked and killed off. This is an incredible play. It's very difficult to do, and it's premeditative. So I gotta yell out, Aullora, well freaking done. Also, we have found the weakness on the KTLs, and it's starting to show really hard here. And we gotta call her out, but she can get better because we know she's a dark horse. Tatski, whenever a fight goes on a little bit too long, she starts to get lost a little bit in the fight. So she needs to mind her positioning. Be careful. Watch out where the front line is. She's going to be able to back up and play it safely. Because even if they don't get a kill immediately, they are still a great team and can work together. But Tatski's got to pull away. And that's my analysis on game number 2.
Concise, clear, and very well done, Turk.
Definitely, I completely agree. And honestly, I mean, it's very much the case. I mean, I will mention that Tatski did a ton of damage that game, 76,000 damage, topped the damage. But I completely agree. I mean, with all those damage numbers, dying, 1 death is all it takes for the Upstanding Citizens to get something out of it. We saw every time that they got a kill, they got something major, and it was awesome. So I do want to, we're going to be taking a quick break as we're setting up for game number 3. We'll talk about it when we get back. Before we go, I do want to just do one quick shout out for Duke Cannon. Baha, what's your favorite flavor? I know I've talked about the leather. I've talked about the freshly cut pine, but they do have some other really cool flavors. What is your favorite flavor?
I'll be honest. I live in a forest and I can go outside and I can just go, lick a tree or whatever, and it's fresh pine, but it's not as good as licking the bar of soap of fresh pine. It is so fresh. It's just it's like living in a mountain. So I'm double pined. It's great. I almost blend in when I go for walks with Bandit, but honest to God, no, they actually make really, really good soap, and the scents are actually delightful. I'm not going to lie.
Awesome. Yeah, I completely agree. They've got some really cool ones. But with that being said, guys, check out Duke Cannon during the break, and we will just be taking a really quick break before we go on to game number 3. Remember, this is a best of 5, so this does not decide the entire game. We are in for a show still, so make sure to check that out. And that also was the first time that the KTLs lost a game. Just keep that in mind as we take that break. Hey guys, welcome back. We are now on Infernal Shrines game number 3. Teams have taken 1 win, and it has been crazy so far. We've realized that banning that Urel is actually a pretty big piece in taking down the KTLs. But is it going to be enough? Because now we've got a little bit more idea of what Upstanding Citizens are going to do. And I think at this point, the KTLs know that they might need to change things up a little bit. They can't just run the same things they've been doing in the past.
We always say what map we're on. We always talk about the map that we're on and everything, but we never talk about how we got to said map. And it's always something that I like to bring up on my stream. Now, typically teams choose and map and all that kind of stuff and all that good stuff. But here in CCL, we have a bit of a different system. What I like to do is I like to put a bunch of treats out, and then I label them on the maps, and then I say, okay, Bandit, game number 1, where are we going? And then he goes and picks up a treat. So that's how we determine the map order. So if you're ever wondering how we got to Infernal Shrines, it's all decided by my dog, who has no idea where we're actually going. But we have a Urel to be banned out first here, Paradox, and once again, it seems like that is going to be the thing that they can capitalize on, removing that from Liam and forcing them onto a different hero. Maybe that Malthael's a little bit lower, or maybe just the last game was just a bit of a rocky start for them, and a best of 5 series maybe is a little bit daunting for the members of the KTLs. It
could be. Honestly, the KTLs might just be getting tired. So this could just be easy sweep. Oh, there's a Mal'Ganis ban. I was about to say, I was like, Didz is likely just going to first pick that Mal'Ganis again. In this case, though, with Mal'Ganis being banned, this opens up a lot of different things. I mean, the Garrosh ban's an opportunity, but I would also probably just grab a Joanna first pick. She's strong in this map, and it works out. Yeah, I mean, speaking of the maps, though, if you were curious about how first pick was decided, I take Kronos, my tortoise, and I put a red treat out and a blue treat out. And if he eats the blue treat first, then that means that blue gets first pick. So just in case you guys were curious about that.
I know that, yeah, because we were getting into this, and the teams were just like, Bahamut, Paradox, how do we get to these maps? And we started explaining, they were like, we need a translator. So we thought, you know what, we'll say it on stream, see if you guys understand it. And it appears no one's asking what in chat, so it makes a lot of sense to apparently everyone. But a Deathwing to be banned out, as even though there was a overall nerf on Deathwing today, they're still respecting on the side of the KTLs.
Ariel is available. I just am going to mention that. But Mewn, I don't know if, but you know who does. Passing it over to this side, Lakefu plays a mean Ariel and currently has a 100% win rate with Ariel in the Celebrity Clash League. So is she going to be picking up that? Or we've also seen her take Rhaegar on this map before. We've seen her take Anduin on this map before, so it's gonna be curious to see. There's LeonBlack taking Joanna. That's Ariel sliding through even further, which is interesting.
a strong tank on a great map. Joanna's going to be, oh boy, the Turk on the Lost Vikings. That is a treat right there. A little early in the draft, if I do say so myself. There's a lot of counters that can come out. Something like a Malthael, actually. I mean, I would maybe consider banning out the Malthael if they're worried about potentially stacking them on those last rights. But you mentioned the Ariel here, and she actually did have a change in the patch today as well. The resurrection timing goes from 3 seconds on the target. So it's not the channel time on the target, it's the time they actually respawn. So when she does get that 1.5-second channel onto them at the reduced range from the previous patch, it's going to be 5 seconds for them to respawn. Also, that talent had a cooldown reduction increase by 20 seconds. So from 80-second cooldown to 100 seconds. That's quite the significant increase on that, meaning that you're not going to have it as often. And typically fights in Heroes of the Storm range in that 30 to 60 seconds. You'll typically see one in every 30 to 60 seconds in this game, but a Greymane to be banned out, as I think they're maybe poking once again at Coffee on that one. But the Ana I really like as well. A Nano Boost or even an Eye of Horus can be very beneficial, but Nano Boost on the Sylvanas is still a little terrifying, but we'll see what the ban's going to be here for Upstanding Citizens.
It honestly can be anything. I mean, yes, they could get rid of Malthael. They could try to just global the things that I usually don't like seeing when I play Vikings, but I'm also nowhere near as good as Turk. We do see the Ariel ban though, and again, I just think I completely agree with you. All those changes are making it very, very difficult. But at the same time, I mean, we still don't know where she is placed currently. With that being said, Lakefu can play every healer in the game. What does she decide is going to be the pick for Infernal Shrines? There's the Rhaegar. We've seen her play Rhaegar on this map before. Combined with Joanna pulling everything in, dropping them with all of the electricity and that lightning shield, it is going to be very easy to win objectives. Now the real question is, how do they handle the Lost Vikings? Now, the Lost Vikings you can handle with globals, you can handle by spreading out, you can handle in a variety of ways, but with a Sylvanas and Lunara sieging very hard, it's going to be very difficult to answer it without actually really having a big plan to answer the Lost Vikings.
Interesting. Yeah, that's literally the exact same thing. Like, we actually could be seeing a Nano Boost onto the Diablo as well. Lightning Breath is spell damage, so it's kind of terrifying actually when you do get that Nano Boost on a Lightning Breath from Diablo. And if you're maybe able to, I mean, there's not a whole lot of lockdown, but you do have the setup from the Sleep Dart potentially. Last pick though coming out, they did need a solo lane. Sonya for the solo lane is actually really, really impactful. She also is really, really good on the shrine itself. Her clear on the shrine with the whirlwind is extremely fast. You can actually, if you win a team fight, you're able to then have your core 4 push that lane out a little bit further, maybe soft push, maybe open up the front gate, and then they themselves can just, the Sonya can just stay on the point and just clear out the entire shrine. I've actually seen a lot of Sonyas do that. I was debating in my mind, I was like, do we get a Kerrigan potentially here? But I don't think there's enough kind of setup and lockdown for her. And Tio, thank you for the $2.22. Also, there was someone earlier, I think it was John, who donated $10. So thank you as well. We are working towards that cash goal, and we're already past the bit goal, which we're already at 128. So thank you all for supporting, and thank you all for putting more money into the grand prize pool, and that benefits all of the teams, not just our grand finalists. Everyone's going to be taking a bit of that pot, so it's going to be helping out everyone. But either way, game number 3 is upon us. Let's go ahead and see what happens here, Paradox.
On the left side, blue team, we have the KTLs. We have Liam playing Sonya, LeonBlack on Joanna, Lakefu on Rhaegar, Kagirii on Jaina, and Tatski back on Raynor.
On the right-hand side, we got the members of the Upstanding Citizens. We're going to be having AlexDidz on Sylvanas, Coffee to be on the Diablo, Aullora to be on the Lunara, Mewn to be on the Ana, and we have Turk on the Balog, Turk on the Eric, and Turk going to be on the Olaf as well. We can check out our first engagement in mid lane as the Vikings are already kind of splitting off. Looks like they're going to run like a 2-1 with the Vikings, and then maybe, they're going into bottom lane with Sylvanas to maybe cheese down the tower a little bit.
It is, I mean, that should be essentially the plan. Normally you want to hit the lane that's furthest from the other two, but at the same time, it can be kind of a tricky thing to hit the lane that they're not expecting you to go to, which in this case is bottom lane. I do want to mention Leon, on his stream, always complains about Joanna, says that he's not a fan of Joanna, but he actually plays a very mean Joanna, so just keep that in mind. Whoa there! Coffee with the amazing flip, pushing the tower range. They chased a little too far. That was an amazing play by Coffee on that Diablo. I mean, we were questioning the Diablo, but I mean, at the start of this game, it's looking pretty good so far.
Turk is going to be having this Viking. The Vikings are the one thing that I'm going to try my best to keep an eye on throughout this game because they're always so entertaining. But at the same time, we do have this push happening in bottom lane where Tatski's actually a little bit low right there. And this is just Coffee and friends just being aggressive through the bottom lane. Typically on Infernal Shrines, we have the standard rotation between mid to bottom. You're looking for experience. They actually shadow charge into the front gate, looking to be real aggressive. You actually also did see a healing reduction on a lot of the enemy players. That's because Mewn is going to be throwing out that biotic grenade on Ana, reducing the healing coming out from the Rhaegar. And for a hero that actually has a heal that bounces from hero to hero, that's really, really big for them to be able to mitigate any sort of burst healing that Lakefu is going to be throwing out here and there. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that one, as this is going to be continued pressure through bottom lane. Raynor actually rotated into mid lane, because right now with the Vikings, they're running a 2-1, meaning they have 2 Vikings in top, 1 in mid, and they can just hard push bottom lane. Every time Sylvanas has her passive up and available, she's going to use it. Olaf does go down to Tatski in mid lane, so she's going to get free push over there, but this is still going to be bottom lane opened up a little bit. As our first Punisher, oh my god, Coffee's so very low. Are they going to be able to find the kill? They do. Well played.
Yeah, I mean, that's the challenge. Both teams are getting a little greedy, and the challenge about a Vikings composition is that, ooh, it looks like Heroes going to be taking...
Oh.
What you want to do with Vikings is you want to get a lot of value early. You want to gain experience leads by sending your entire team into one lane and then having Vikings cover the soak in every other lane. What that does is if your team is able to do something in that 4 versus 5, they will get a huge lead from that, and your goal is to win while you have that lead before the lead ends up subsiding, which is usually around level 20 when that lead finally ends up dropping. We've seen them use it in the past, and they are doing exactly what a Vikings comp should do. Take forts as early as possible, utilize that Sylvanas to make those forts easier to get, and in this case have Aullora send out those wisps when needed and take things out. Overall, I mean, they're playing this exactly how a Vikings comp is run. Normally in this situation, you're going to flip now. You're going to send the 4-man up to top, destroy another fort, and just use that passive experience gain that you got from that first fort. We are approaching the first objective though, and I would love to hear how Upstanding Citizens is going to play this out with that Vikings comp.
Run middle, kill Raynor if we can.
Okay, yep, I'm with you.
Alright, never mind. Tap middle, okay. And then we're going to contest on the shrines. Diablo run there. Wisp over here in the top area. Okay, we need to start pressuring them here.
Yep.
Okay, we have a talent advantage. I can reduce spell powers. This is really strong.
I'm looking at Raynor,
Yeah, Raynor.
Raynor.
Nice. Good job.
Sonya.
Hold on. Just.
Okay, shrine.
Slow. Yeah.
Okay, we need to fight. Force. Alright, that's okay. Alright. That's fine. We got bottom. We're getting a lot of damage bottom, and we're expecting to lose the first objective or 2.
Okay. Yep, that's fine.
I'll jump it.
Even though they lost that first objective, they explained what they gained out of it, and it's very experience and a lot of pressure. I will mention something that they did in shock calls that was really good, specifically Coffee, and calling out targets is one thing. Maybe just save Lakefu there, I don't know. But calling out targets is one thing. But if you just call out a target after you CC them, your team might not be close enough. One of the things Coffee did really well that everyone can learn from is he said, I'm looking at Raynor, I'm looking at Raynor, and then everyone repositioned near Raynor. He charged Raynor, flipped Raynor, and then they blew up Raynor very, very quickly. So you almost don't even need to call out after a CC as long as everyone knows where to be looking.
That's an amazing point, because that's what we were bringing up in game number 1 when we were actually listening to their comms, when there was that mosh pit where we were talking, it was a little bit of a zoning mosh pit, but that entire comms moment was just silent, and people were like, all right, we're going in, and then no one was calling targets. And that's when you and I were discussing, typically the main tank's saying, I'm looking for this, I'm going for that, and right there, Coffee calling things out like that is perfect for them. If they can continue to do that, I think the members of Upstanding Citizens might be looking at a 2-1 here, but there's a long road before that, as they do have Turk in this mid lane on Olaf, which they will be losing to Viking right there, but that isn't that big of a deal. They currently have 2 Vikings still pushing back Sonya. Pushing back is an opportunistic word because she's been forcing that up the entire time, but meanwhile in mid lane, they're going to find a kill into Raynor, a kill into Jaina, the Leaping Strike's coming through. So much poison damage as they also did go into Lightning Breath for that Diablo, and while they have the 10 talent advantage, why not pushing the enemy team, finding a couple kills, and this is a free fort. But next Punisher will be in top lane, and it will be a mortar one. So until then, I think this is going to be the members of KTL's kind of backing off, repositioning a little bit, and they have to kind of work their way back into this game right now. It seems like they're just kind of clearing and responding constantly what Upstanding Citizens is putting on the board, rather than being able to force them to actually make rotations and respond to them. So it's kind of that moment where you need to kind of regain control, and they're going to try and take a fight over this point right now. That's going to be Mewnfare's going to be the target initially. They find the blow up onto them. Ring of Frost connects onto Diablo. They have Sonya actually spearing through the wall right onto them. Whirlwind comes through, overpower. Well, not enough, but they get 2 kills, also resetting the souls on Diablo. That's huge. Meanwhile, though, Paradox, bottom lane, Turk on Vikings, pushing up consistently.
And that's the big thing about this is one of the things I mentioned against this heavy front line is try to win in macro. And the Lost Vikings is doing essentially that. It's very difficult to deal with. It is pushing every single lane. And even though they're dying, they're just keeping up with experience. If we wanted to take a quick peek at experience, you can see that the Lost Vikings anyways has 10,000 experience. Sonya's doing her best to keep up with 8,300, but there's only so much you can do. And then of course that passive experience from taking those 2 forts is huge. But the challenge about a Vikings comp is that they struggle in team fights. So if you can force fights during objectives, that's going to be the best thing that the KTLs can do to try to take this game.
Well, let's see here. I'm looking at the posturing on the minimap and seeing how they're going about this. Coffee and friends are looking kind of for a flank right now. They don't really have vision on this, so they Sleep Dart connects on to Kagirii. That's huge for them. Healing reduction coming out as well. Wrath the Berserker was popped by Sonya. Leaping Strikes coming through. Jane's the first one to go down. Mewn going to be targeted as well, and so it's a 1-for-1 thus far, as they are going to be on Diablo. No souls, so they're a little bit squishy, and they do find that final slam. So a 1-for-2 in favor for the members of the Upstanding Citizens, but the objective is now in their favor. Here's the thing, though. You just mentioned it. There's still the Vikings on the map. They need to deal with that because they got a Viking in mid pushing a keep front gate and a Viking in bottom doing the exact same thing.
And it's going to be brutal. I mean, you see a catapult, you see another catapult in with a Viking in bot, and they just keep pushing. Even though they keep losing in these team fights, they are still ahead an entire level. Which, I mean, they're going to lose another objective here. This objective, the KTLs need to take this objective and push it all the way to a keep, and they need to try to get something big with this. So I would love to listen to their comms right now and see how they plan on taking this and pushing it forward.
We get this, and then we go get mid fort. Okay. So we'll defend this, and then we'll go get middle fort.
Just go mid now.
Mm-hmm. Choose Hyperion on mid.
Okay.
You want to take it, Leon?
Yeah, I'll take it.
I don't know where they are, so I'm.
Yeah, they're just.
They're all top. They're top. They're top. Okay.
I have a turret tanking.
Yeah, we'll just steal their knolls.
Yeah. They could get bot wall as well, actually.
They still top with you guys?
I gotta get middle soak. Just keep this. Yeah, they're still there. Yeah, we evened up the game. We're way stronger than them. Like, as far
I got
as,
slept. I'm about to die. Oh no!
You're fine. You're fine.
Where are you? I'm fine. I just was deja vu. You get slept and then everybody jumps on you.
All right, I got extra.
That is a big host. Thank you, Grubby, so much for that. That is awesome. We really appreciate it. Anything that helps out the this event is always appreciated. And Grubby, we love you. So, you know, it always adds that in. I do want to mention something from those comms really quick, that they ended up taking a very safe approach. I really expected them to try to just push all the way to the keep, but if they weren't able to win there on the keep, then they not only would have lost a lot of value, but they also would have been down a ton of levels. So in this case, they decided to instead go for a fort into another fort and just get the free forts. It's a very safe approach. Hopefully it ends up paying off for them, getting them closer to level 16s, allowing them to have those katas spawning mid to defend against the opposing katas. They just need to hit 20s now because the 16s advantage is there for the Upstanding Citizens, and it will continue pushing them. If they get that 20s, they need to try to end.
Workhorse, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much. But I also want to quickly note that we do have 19 out of the 20 stacks for the Jaina on the Fingers of Frost. We do have 37 stacks on the Unfurling Shadows at level 1 for the Sylvanas, 41 stacks on the Souls for Diablo, so they don't have that insta revive. 39 stacks, because I did see in chat people were interested about the Vampiric rounds, but that's going to be Hyperion on top of the Ring of Frost into Coffee. Mana Boost went on into Diablo, who does use the Lightning Breath. We talked about in draft a little bit. Leon just literally pops Iron Skin, steps forward into them, going to continue to brawl out into this as Coffee's taking quite a bit of damage. They do have the slow from their Subdue as well, and Coffee with some 26 health is living through all this, but Vesper comes into the backline, being pushed around. Jane is the first one to go down the left-hand side, as I think the Ancestor Healing might have missed them. Unfortunately, Sonya's going to get picked off as well, and now they're going to be pushing on in through bottom lane even further on the side of Upstanding Citizens.
This is an insane fight, and actually with all of these going down and this experienced lead, there's a chance that they could try to end right here. If they can take out Leon, that's a res coming out from the Lost Vikings. They are going to have a lot of bodies hitting this. We will have Sylvanas turning off this bottom keep, and this is going to be just a Rhaegar and a Joanna trying to defend for 10 seconds, and it looks like they're not going to go for it. They do have the opportunity to hit level 20s first, so they don't really need to take this fight. I mean, it would be a 16-16 fight essentially as far as talent tiers go. So they're going to play it safe. They're going to have the Vikings continue keeping up that experience lead while fighting over this objective, which actually pushes down bottom. If Upstanding Citizens wins this objective, they will have a level 20 lead over the KTLs, as well as they will have an objective pushing down at the same time into an open core. So this is the win condition for Upstanding Citizens, and this also needs to be answered by the KTLs as soon as possible.
Shadow Charge onto... Hold on. The Ring of Frost is going to be coming out as well. This is a lot of... It's actually a Ring of Frost that's missing quite a few people. We have a Hyperion coming out on top of them. Coffee taking initial damage. Vesper trying to spin to win and keep themselves alive in this engagement as the Turk actually takes a flank with the Vikings into the back line. Lakefu being the target, and they're trying to get the kill onto them as we actually have Ana going down on the right side of our screen. We actually have the Lunar getting picked off as well. Sylvanas went down during that, and Turk and Coffee need to back off as this objective phase looks like it's going over to the KTLs. Quickly, thank you so much to Grubby for the 5 gifted subs. Ari for the $50. Really appreciate all the support this evening. And we did hit our tips goal. We really do. Actually, no. Our tips goal is like what?
We're out by 17 cents, yes. So either way, if anyone wants to donate 17 cents, that would be appreciated.
There you go. Punisher for bottom lane, and what do they need to do? Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm just peeking up in top lane. Turk is just free pushing. Just going to go grab themselves a keep really quickly.
If this is defended, I mean, Sonya has to go deal with this, and if this is defended, that will be 20s in favor of Upstanding Citizens, but don't let that discourage the KTLs, because the KTLs played this fight exactly how it needed to be played. They're doing exactly what they needed to do to answer this, and the closer they get to 20, it essentially drops the Lost Vikings. Honestly, the Lost Vikings' entire gimmick is about ending the game before the enemy team gets level 20. And with that being said, it's going to be very difficult for the Lost Vikings to end this game after both teams hit level 20, especially with some of the level 20 talents that are going to be available for the KTLs.
I think it was someone donated. I missed it, but someone donated $10, and we really appreciate it. Thank you. We did hit our goal this evening, so it's very much appreciated. I'll double check that after this game. But either way, I'm looking at Sonya right now in top lane, Hearth and back. We've actually got some camps being grabbed by the members of the Upstanding Citizens to just force those into lanes. And realistically, I think, honestly, Paradox, this is going to come down to our next Punisher. I think the next Punisher will determine who takes this game.
It definitely could. This is level 20s ahead. We do have the next Punisher not even announced yet, which means that we still have at least 30 seconds before that will appear. I do want to mention really quick, the Sylvanas stacks were asked in chat. There are 40 stacks on Unfurling Shadows, a little lower, but that's because Leon isn't really giving them the opportunity to get those stacks. So, and they tend to be pushing more structures than team fights, but Leon did charge forward trying to set up this. We did have Looney Tune was the one that tipped $10, and Evil Bread also tipped $5. I just want to mention that really quick. But yeah, I mean, level 20s, this is a time that Upstanding Citizens needs to get something done. If they can't get something done at 20s, they're going to be at a huge disadvantage trying to close out this game a little bit later. And we do also have a tip from Millie Nix, $17.17, just to even out everything to a even 132 without any little pennies in there.
Just nice round numbers here on the Celebrity Clash League, but right now it's 20s up on both sides. We do currently have the just the waves are being managed. Frozen Punisher will be our next one in top lane, so it's actually a fairly well defended lane for both sides. I believe the keep front gate is still up on the right hand side for Upstanding Citizens, and they actually have a little bit of damage under their keep on that left side. We were noting that during the last Protector phase, or excuse me, during the last Punisher phase, as that was Turk pushing that up with a camp as well. But right now, I think it's the Upstanding Citizens are just kind of running around the map doing whatever they want, and they're just letting the waves crash in on the side of the KTLs. Maybe they're just turtling up just to wait for those 20s, or they're just waiting for the next objective phase. But Sleep Dart goes out, misses. Vesper's going to be diving in. Mewn going to be that target. The rest of the team is a little bit far away. Blessed Shield comes out. That's also going to be the Hyperion on top of a lot of these players. Sylvanas the first one to go down. Ring of Frost underneath the Diablo. That is going to be using the nano boosted Lightning Breath. They did go into Hellstorm at level 20, so they get that increased time. But Moon is going to be chased by Vesper. Hyperion's still on top of them. They find the kill onto them. Aullora very low. They're going to get chased by Vesper. Leaping Strike over one of the catapults as they did go into the Boundless Stride at level 20. Now the Vikings trying to interrupt, but Tatski and friends are chasing this. Aullora does get the Leaping Strike over, and they're going to back off. Meanwhile, Turk on Eric is pushing up consistently, but it looks like they don't care. They're going to be pushing on through bottom lane, and Paradox, they might be trying to end on the side of the KTLs.
I mean, they have a Raynor, they have a Sonya, they have a Jaina, three of the best siege heroes in the game. They can easily take this if it is not defended very well. And it looks like that's essentially what they're going to do. The Sonya is wiping the wave as fast as possible, setting up, auto attack, W, Qs, dropping this down very quickly. We also have Lakefu sitting on that. We've got the Blizzards on there. But look at all this damage that's going out. We did have a Storm Shield preventing some of the damage from from Aullora, but it looks like this is going to be going down 11%, 5%, 4%, and that is GG in favor of the KTLs. That was a really tough game for them. They fought that well. They played that perfectly. They knew exactly where the strengths and weaknesses of both comms lied, and they made sure that when they had the strengths, they went and they ended the game. And there we go. We can actually look at Liam this time and go, okay, that seems more reminiscent of what we saw on the Urel. Liam's topping siege damage, topping hero damage, topping self-healing, and topping the experience contributed. While only half the experience contributed of Lost Vikings, that's still an incredible amount, 16,000 for Sonya. So I do just want to share that in this case, banning the Urel wasn't quite enough to keep Liam down, but everyone played so well. I mean, Lakefu on that Rhaegar, 100% win rate on this map with Rhaegar, just dominating. And LeonBlack, he played Joanna, which he usually doesn't like doing, and he played a mean Joanna. So overall, both teams played that out really well, but the KTLs, they adjusted, they adapted, and they answered all of those challenges.
It was a really, really well-played game. I love the back and forth. I was actually looking at the minimap as the game was ending. If they didn't take that game, like if they didn't take that core, there was already a camp in bottom, a camp in top, and there's catapults and waves with that already. So if both teams literally like wiped each other in a sense, the amount of pressure the Vikings put onto the core towards the end of that game would have been enough to actually solidify the win for Upstanding Citizens. So they did kind of have a win condition. So it was all in, like, we make this defense, we die on this hill, and we hope to God that we stop them from potentially ending the game. Unfortunately, it will be the KTLs winning on game number 3. But as we said, it's a best of 5 series, so we're not done with this just yet. But once again, we have a special guest with us.
Yeah, and thank God it's a best of 5 series, because I don't know about you guys, but my armpits are sweaty. This is an awesome best of 5 series, and game number 3 did not disappoint. First things first, even though we had a loss for the Upstanding Citizens, you gotta note that Ana is pretty freaking strong. In fact, so much that I drew a picture with a banana on it. Bahamut, if you would like to show that, you are more than welcome to. If not, it's art for your own personal collection. You can put it onto a fridge. Up to you. I don't care. The point is, Mewnfare's is a double-edged sword in this series because he was destroying on that Ana to the point where I would not give it to him again. But we also have to call him out for getting caught there in the middle of the map. He stepped up on an Ana, a character that is very, very squishy, and attempted to go for a sleep dart and try to land the bullseye. Unfortunately, it did not connect. he was jumped on and his entire team suffered because of it. But we have to give a shout out to the KTLs. The KTLs realizing, okay, we're playing against the Vikings. The Vikings are toxic. They burn you down. You hate playing against them, but we're living through it. We're not going to tilt. We're going to wait for our moment. And the moment that moment did pop up, they turned around, got the kills, and struck in the bottom lane. So massive plays for them. They continue to be sweaty. They continue to be awesome. And I'm ready for game number 4.
Game number 4. And thank you again, Trixler. 100%. That was exactly it. The Ana was awesome, but that one time out of position was all it took to completely change that game. So completely agree. Baha, we are going in game number 4. What map are we going to?
Well, Bandit was really excited about this one, mostly because of the fact that he's just getting a treat and he has no idea what's happening. But it's going to be Hanamura Temple. A map that we rarely, if ever, get to see. So I'm super actually pumped about this. Sorry, I'm reading the draft chat right now. It's not even draft chat, it's lobby chat, and all I see is also why Hanamura, and then it was just response was to tilt Moon, and yeah, I mean he really hates this map, so we'll see what happens right there. But I gotta say, Hanamura it's a map we don't get to see too often, so I'm super excited about this one, and a lot of good back and forths, and it's gonna be an absolute blast of a game. But we just need to get one more player into our lobby, and then we'll be getting into game number 4. Now this could be the final game of the evening, or we could be going to a game number 5. And game number 5. Oh no. We won't spoil it. We're gonna hold off. But either way, we do have everyone in the lobby. We're gonna ask if they're ready, and we'll figure out if we're gonna be able to get into Hanamura Temple in just a second. But overall, thoughts from that last game? Do we still see the ban on Urel? Is even though that she got some slight changes today, whether the bug being fixed? Do you think we'll actually see her in this game?
Urel, I mean, it could be an option. It could be banned. I honestly think for Hanamura, I mean, it's a tricky map because we know that a lot of people think that the real objective is actually just the samurai camp. So with that being in mind, Urel has a hard time clearing camps on her own, but she's also going to be on the left side of the map, which means all she has to deal with is essentially the Turk camp if she ever wants to get that. But she could also invade. I think it would be a pretty good time to sneak out the Urel, but at the same time, Upstanding Citizens, their best chance in this is to just keep banning Urel. It's been working for them, and I think they should still continue doing that. But that Sonya was terrifying, so I'm up to see really anything here. This is one of the times where I think Mal'Ganis is a little bit tricky on this map because fights tend to be very spread out and no one needs to stand still on anything, meaning that Mal'Ganis is going to be floating his way over for a long time. So these are the times where I'm not a big fan of Mal'Ganis, but I'm curious to see if they still... Ooh, that's a Lunara ban. So we've seen Aullora only play Lunara and Ragnaros, and because Turk has been playing in the solo lane, that's essentially making them shift their entire team. But I'm curious to see if Liam and their team decides to just ban Ragnaros and see what Aullora has to do.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's definitely a tactic you can play into. They've actually been banning out that gray main consistently in the third ban on the side of the KTLs to get rid of that from Coffee. I'm sorry. I'm looking at chat and I couldn't miss it. Turk even called their own team a coward for banning out Urel. Oh. I just want to point that out. We were joking about the team ignoring Turk during draft. It's literally him just telling them oh, you're a coward for banning out the enemy team's strongest hero in the past 3 weeks. So, it's a bit of an interesting draft mechanic and dynamic coming out from Upstanding Citizens. But a Mal'Ganis to be removed right there. They don't want to deal with AlexDidz on that once again, and they do have first pick on the right hand side. So who can blame them? And that will be the gray main, as it's been banned out consistently.
Surprising first pick, but it is. I mean, Coffee is very strong on Greymane, and they have on the third ban. So in this case, he's just picking it as soon as possible. That leaves quite a few things available. I mean, that's Sylvanas available, that's Ariel available, which it seems like they don't really want Ariel anymore. After the changes, I think you're right. I think maybe she's dropped down in tiers a little bit, and we do have Joanna being picked up again.
20 seconds added to the cooldown reduction and 2 seconds added to the respawn time of the target that's being resurrected. It changes things for a team fight. That 3 seconds allowed you to really kind of get the cast in there. They're able to respawn, and typically they're able to get out of there just in time. But 5 seconds, really, that's a whole long time. Like 5 seconds in Hero of the Storm is an age, but that's Deathwing actually making it through, because Deathwing has been banned in all of the games outside of, well, this one. So Turk is gonna show off if the Deathwing nerfs today really mean nothing. But Aullora does get that Ragnaros before we get into our second ban phase.
Remember, Turk has been the only one in the Celebrity Clash League to even win a game on Deathwing, but it did take 2 games to win that. So it is a challenge. One of the things that Turk does really well is he actually plays a 4-man Deathwing. Most people in the competitive scene have thrown Deathwing in a solo lane. A few people have tried Deathwing as a solo solo tank. But the Turk, he's like, nope, Deathwing is a mage, and he runs Deathwing as a mage. So Ragnaros will be in the solo lane, Deathwing will be in the 4-man alongside Greymane, which means they still need to pick a tank, and they still need to pick a healer. And with a healer, when you have a Deathwing on your team, you normally want to pick a healer that's a little bit more aggressive, because you can't heal your Deathwing. So it's better to play a healer that can like CC the enemies to set up for better fights with your Deathwing.
Interesting ban on the Ariel. No real play from her this evening, but I mean, it is a valuable hero. Like, I don't want to say like just because she had slight changes today and mostly nerfs that she's like out of the meta per se, but I don't know. Like, I feel like Anduin's a really good choice. Deckard Cain's a really good choice. I mean, Lakefu and Deckard Cain on Battlefield of Eternity was so insanely impactful. Like the emeralds that she was able, the emerald value she got, and especially into LeonBlack, who was able to just to live
there's
in the
Deckard
enemy team. Right there.
On
a 2-lane map where you're going to be having a solo that maybe has a rotation here and there from an assassin, something like a Zeratul or a Genji or a Maiev. This is really, really good as a Deckard Cain map because, as I said, you're going to be brawling out in bottom lane 4v4, and any extra healing you can throw out is still beneficial healing. So I really like that Deckard Cain pickup at Li Ming for actually. Now I'm seeing it on Tatski, but we'll see if they end up swapping roles here. But
I saw that as well.
Yeah, like I was about to say Kagirii, and then I looked up. I'm like, oh no, she's on her Sylvanas, which she actually plays a ton of. Anubrak though, as well as Lucio. I like the Anubrak for the web wrap to shut down maybe Deckard Cain, maybe even shut down Joanna, so that way they can step up into Sylvanas, Deckard Cain, and Li Ming. But we still need one more pick to come out from the members of the KTLs, and they need a solo lane to go into the Deathwing or the Ragnaros. Well, maybe the Ragnaros. We'll have to see. That's what they're considering.
Yeah, I think that's always a challenging point. I mean, there's a Leoric that's pretty good.
Like
it answers for Leoric. Yeah, I mean, Leoric's actually one of my favorite answers to Deathwing, not necessarily for the percent health. I like it for the damage reduction. Lowering Deathwing's damage because he can't be healed essentially makes it to where you want a longer fight against a Leoric, but the longer the fight goes on against a Leoric, the worse it is for a Deathwing. So I think overall that's a really, really good option to answer that. The Lucio's surprised me a little bit because you won't be able to heal one member of your team. You can't give them movement speed, and Lucio doesn't have a lot of CC. But Mewn did play a very mean Lucio when we saw him on Volskaya, so I couldn't completely agree, seeing that could certainly be a very, very big boon for their team.
I actually love the idea of break it down as a initial buff before they go into a fight, because Greymane and Nubra are going to be they're going to be dive buddies throughout the entire game. So break it down is going to be a good way to kind of buff them before they get into the fight. But either way, Paradox, we're into game number 4.
Game number 4 on the left side, blue team. We have Lakefu playing Deckard, LeonBlack on Joanna, Liam on Leoric. We've got Tatski on Li Ming and Kagirii on Sylvanas. That is the KTLs.
And on the right-hand side, up 1 game in our best of 5 series, trying to make it a 2 so we can go to game 5. We got the members of the Upstanding Citizens. Aullora to be on the Ragnaros. We've got Coffee on the Greymane, AlexDidz to be on the Anubrak, Mewn to be on the Lucio, and the Turk on that Deathwing. As I was looking around and I was like, where's Deathwing? Who's on it once again? Oh yeah, no, they're in the sky right now. So we'll see them potentially land on top of a couple heroes here and there as the game does progress. I'm just skimming through the level 1 talents to see if there's anything that really kind of stands out here. But I'd say it's pretty standards across the board when it comes to our level 1s.
Definitely. Now on this map, Hanamura, one of the goals for people to do, because the objective, it takes such a long time to get such a light reward. In the competitive scene, we've seen more people go primarily for the camps on this map. They will go for the samurai camp, which does an extreme amount of damage to forts if it's not defended, as well as the turret camps, which allow you to tank turrets when you need to. Ooh, LeonBlack is getting in trouble right there, getting dropped. And again, I mean, Turk loves this 4-man Deathwing. It's interesting because it's not normally what you see with Deathwing, and he thinks that's the way to play Deathwing now. And honestly, after watching him play Deathwing a few times, it's hard to say no to that. He does a lot of damage on his Deathwing. So I do think that's fascinating.
I just peeked into top lane really quickly. Aullaura's being forced back insanely hard by Leoric. Like, there's playing and freezing the lane, and Leoric is just stepping up and just sieging into this right now. So they're actually going to back off of this this bottom lane as the Joanna's back up from death. I was actually watching Leon trying to escape that fight right there, and there was 3 potions just out of reach. If they actually would have hit that first one, they would have been able to get to the other 2 definitely, and would have lived through all that. But right now we do have our Sentinel camp, or our Samurai camp, if you will, going to be grabbed for the bottom lane. We typically see teams often split off and grab this. You want to almost, I would realistically say, if it's off cooldown, you should be grabbing it, just because of the push power it brings to it brings into the lane, as well as just, it's kind of the same thing as like the shamans. If left uncontested, that thing can get a whole lot of siege in for your team. But right now, it's I'm looking at minimap. This is just Vesper just chasing Aullora around the map, who's on the aggressive side over here, and they're calling this out. I can only imagine as Tatski's going to try and throw out a combo, misses it right there. That will be Leon stepping up, and they even out those kills 1-1 as they find that Ragnaros kill. But right now, Leoric will have free push in top lane as the Sentinel camp is kind of holding back the enemy team from stepping up in bottom.
It is brutal, and because these objectives, I mean, both teams have picked up relatively even on experience right now, both 1 kill. It's all going to really come down to this first objective phase and how they decide to answer it. Are they going to go more on the priority of getting camps, or are they going to be more on the priority of pushing this objective? And I would love to hear how Upstanding Citizens are going to be approaching this first objective.
I still have my turret camp. We can kill Joanna, or at least attempt to. Okay, good damage. We don't even need a samurai.
My bad, I got a little...
I think if we can bang out samurai quickly, it'd be good.
Yep, okay. With you.
It's interesting because they didn't have a lot of plans there. Their plan was essentially just, hey, let's see how this plays out. We can maybe go for a samurai, but we don't really need it. And I do think it's kind of interesting that they're not overly committing to any plans. They're more in the mindset of adapting to see what happens first. But I do think it's funny. I mean, welcome to Hanamura. No one's making any calls for the actual objective.
Mm-hmm. It's. I would say this is standard Hanamura. Not really. I can't say that because I don't get to cast this map ever, if often. So it's like I'm still kind of just like, how are these teams gonna play? And that's why when I saw it on the map pool, I was like, oh, I'm so excited for this one. But I feel like it's a lot like Alterac Pass, where it's really like you don't need to jump to the objective right away. There's a lot more pressure you can put into lanes. You're actually hearing them talk about the Sentinel camp, and they can get that into lane very quickly. And while that's happening, I actually love the play that they made. Think of it like the Null camp on Alterac Pass, or the Shaman camp on Battlefield of Eternity or Infernal Shrines. You're grabbing that so you can force the enemy team out of the objective area. That way they have to clear it. Once you see that team over there doing that, you jump to objective with your member advantage, because obviously someone's clearing, and you can essentially get it. And that's exactly what they did. They waited for the Sentinel camp, and I was talking about how it should be grabbed off cooldown, and that's what you're seeing the members of the KTLs do right now. But I love the way they kind of delayed that to give them time to be able to do exactly what they did. They get the shots off, those go into top lane. Bottom lane will be assailed by the enemy team, and they're going to try and get as much value out of this, maybe even getting a fort. But the enemy team is going to be stepping into lane with a Sentinel camp. We'll see if they're able to deny this, as this is a couple members being forced back. A new Brat gets the burrow charge out, and they just get half of the fort's health.
Yeah, and I mean, the funny thing, that the strategy that the Upstanding Citizens did right there was kind of interesting. They grabbed the turret camp and they held almost the entire time. And when they finally started pushing the objective, they made a very aggressive turret play to deny the enemies and zone them out from the objective. And it looks like Leon's going to try to fight over this turret. That is an early ult. Remember that Deathwing does get his ultimate ability before everyone else. And but that, even with that ult, Leon just pretty much just picked up that turret and didn't even have to worry about it. He did have to use a turret to get it, but trading a turret's better because you still get that extra experience from that turret. So if we were to look at the experience, for example, the KTLs do have a decent chunk of experience from that. Still a little bit behind in Merc experience, purely because of the vision cams that were picked up. And it looks like we may end up having a pause right here because of a little bit of a DC. But during that, I mean, we are approaching level 10s very quickly. Experience is relatively even on both of these teams. The first objective has gone in favor of Upstanding Citizens, yet at the same time, the more Samurai camps or Sentinel camps were picked up by the KTLs. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how they both choose to go and approach this fight. I mean, more objective favor has been given to Upstanding Citizens. I mean, they've been putting more pressure on it. But it's a rough map for that. So I'm really curious. I mean, what are some of the ults that might shake up this game, Baha?
I gotta say, web rep is going to be the big one. I talked about that in draft a little bit. I think shutting down someone like Lakefu, shutting down someone like Leon, or maybe Leoric, it's not the biggest threat in the world, but shutting down either Joanna or Decker Kane is such an impactful tool in some of these fights because of the fact that, well, you're either mitigating all the healing or you have no main tank to be able to use Condemn, slowing them, Iron Skin, or even blinds with the shield glare, because if there's no blinds going on to Grey Main, they're able to dive in, get consistent damage, and potentially blow people up. And on that note of blowing people up and diving in, we could actually see a go for the throat here. There's you got a Sylvanas, Decker Kane. It's 50-50 because Curse Bullet is 40% of the current health pool. I don't know. I'm like torn because go for the throat. It could get value if they can get into that backline. Seems like they've been able to consistently do that. So those are the two talents. Like I think Greymane's 10 talent, you can go into either or, and that's going to be huge for them. But the web wrap is the biggest one in my opinion. Just being able to take someone out of the fight so that way you can step up even further and be more aggressive. You've seen them consistently be a dominant force when they have a member up on the side of the Upstanding Citizens, which is, I mean, it's a very obvious fact, but some teams can also turn those moments around. And it seems like if they've got a little bit of momentum or that little bit of like that advantage where they feel like they could maybe take a fight, then they win. And I think that's also they ride off of Mewn's energy. If he's kind of calm and lax, they tend to kind of just play here and there. But when he's calling shots, like Volsky Foundry was a great example. Same thing with Infernal Shrines. When they're calling shots and they're in those fights and they're yelling, that's when they have that momentum. That's when you see them be aggressive. But when you see them kind of passively being like, let's do this, let's do that, like you can kind of tell that they're like waiting a little bit, but shutting one member down or taking them out is going to be the big factor just to kind of encapsulate all of that for you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's actually a psychology to people that get stressed and work better under stress. I'm not going to get all into that because me talking about psychology, I'm going to derail for the entire time. But I think Mewn and his entire team probably has a little bit of that because when they get stressed, they make some pretty awesome plays, some awesome calls. And I just love that. So it's definitely something that we're going to have to see as it gets a little too crazy. But we are having some internet issues still, so we will continue on. But yeah, I mean, as far as the composition goes, we have on the side of Upstanding Citizens an entire team that could dive. They could dive into the enemy team. So yes, Bullet would be awesome, but you did mention if they can get to the back line, then Bite would be great too. And I do think that could be a possibility because Anubarak, Lucio, Greymane, even Deathwing and Ragnaros all have the possibility of diving if they want to, but we are getting back into this game. Level 10s are approaching very quickly, slightly in favor of Upstanding Citizens, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be them first. All it's going to take is one kill or one camp to change this up.
We do actually, I want to quickly go through some of the questing talents if anyone is wondering. Also, I just want to see Aullora in top lane, unfortunately, is going to be going down to Vesper. But the Ragnaros did already finish out the Sulfurous Hungers at level 1. They're sitting at 10 out of the 15 stacks on the Catching Fire. Greymane has 5 out of the 30 Wisdom Duelist stacks, and then we do have the Subdue for Joanna. That hasn't been completed, but you have to hit 4 people with that punish. Very difficult to do, but even then, even if you don't finish that talent out, hitting 2 people with the Subdue still gives you that 80% slow, and that is a lot to help someone chase into these engagements further. Might allow them to maybe even lock them down with a Decker Cane, but right now we're seeing a Slight Invade, Blessed Shield going to be coming out. They're going to be popping so much damage onto Lucio, and there's no 10 talent tier. That is a blow up. The Dark Horse I was gonna say Kagirii because she's always on the Li Ming, but the Dark Horse Tatski is gonna be able to clean up that fight right there. That Entomb and that Blessed Shield setup was insane. Oh my god, I love that.
I mean, they didn't even expect it because the KTLs came around from Upstanding Citizens side of the map, and they honestly just were not prepared for that at all. And that's going to be a sleep and a lot of damage on Aullora, likely going to be taking her out. The Turk needs to really make a decision quick if he wants to get out of this fight, and he ends up getting taken out as well. That is really, really rough, and that is going to be very difficult for Upstanding Citizens to come back from that. Ultimately, at this point, this is a great time for the KTLs to set up by picking up all the camps that are available because they already stole the enemy camps. They're all really good on the vision camps. They just need to pick up a couple camps and get prepared for this objective. They can start pushing it if they want to, but I actually like Mewn's quick defense on that. And I mean, they're down by a full level, but being down 6 kills and only down by a level is still pretty good, I would say. And I think Upstanding Citizens still has a definite chance about this.
You know what? While we have everyone up and available, the map's a little bit split, but let's actually jump into the comms for the KTLs and see how they're going to be dealing with this because they are a little bit up in our game right now.
We're fine.
Don't need to worry about me too much.
Okay. Do I want to get turret?
Kind of just want to stand here and do nothing. Yeah, you can do the turret.
I guess 13 then. Careful.
Yeah, I'm getting bottom.
I'm kind of
afraid.
Right, they're kind of still pushing it, yeah.
They are. It's moving. It's
We're gonna kill the samurai right now.
I have arrow up.
We can kill them if they're here.
Yeah. Flank them.
One rat.
No.
I'm coming. Laser beam. Okay.
We just push up with Sylph.
I see Lucio.
I've been 2 and 10.
Hey, they're trying to sneak.
They took it.
We can flank them again though.
They just took it from me. I'm scared. Look at that. It's Moon. Get out of here, Moon.
Go whack him.
Yeah, whack him. Oh, he's sneaky. He got those skates.
So be careful.
Get back here, Moon.
Deathwing kill.
Can we kill Deathwing?
Oh my gosh, he's like
kill
all
Deathwing,
over the place.
kill Deathwing. He can't fly.
Don't let him trigger it. Yeah.
He autos, he can't do it.
Oh god. Oh yeah, he's right here. Hello.
I am feared. Goodbye. Oh no. Oh no, guys, I need a tap.
Nah.
I was run away. Oh no.
I can't.
I can't reach them.
I can't get you. They pushed it in.
For the damage.
I have no back team.
Nice.
Oh, I got him.
Can we steal their samurai off that?
During that entire time, I mean, that was some interesting shot calls, but during that entire time, the objective pushed by Upstanding Citizens. So Turk kind of opened up a lot of space, even though he did end up dying there. But it was a decent amount of damage done by the KTLs to that bottom fort. In this case, though, there is a decent engage coming in. An amazing silence, an amazing entomb.
Dear Lord, but they're going to chase further onto Coffee. He does have a turret on them as well. They're actually going to drop the turret because they're a little afraid of potentially getting picked off. So they're just like, you know what? If I die, at least they're not going to be able to grab that. If we get a kill with it, cool. But that's not the case as Coffee's trying to. Yeah, they're going to be splitting right now. That's actually going to be. There's two. AlexDidz is trying to work their way away. LeonBlack and Vesper are going to be chasing the Coffee, who's dipping and diving around. But that's going to be a arcane orb coming out of nowhere. Meanwhile, Lakefu is actually trying to squash the bug. They actually do get the burrow charge over the wall, but while that's happening, I think they might try and steal the samurai camp. We saw them constantly talking about that in their comms. I want to talk about those comms a little bit because that is the happiest murder spree, I guess you could say, that I've ever heard someone go on in Heroes of the Storm. Like, Tatski gets a triple kill, and the entire time she's just giggling and yelling beam. Like,
yep. Pretty much.
The difference between the comps for these teams is just it's like night and day, and it's so interesting to jump back and forth. But either way, once again the Turk, Bellowing Roar comes out, but there's an Entomb that locks them in. They're going to use Cataclysm to get out. Disintegrate coming out from the Li Ming, not going to be able to find a kill onto them. No reset, and a lava wave from the Ragnaros to force them back. But also to note, we have 16 talent here, not too far off on the side of the KTLs. So while they've lost the first two objectives, they are still up in experience with a 12-1 in our kills currently. Yeah,
and comms, hey, if it's working for you, everyone has their own problem. comps, right? And I think that's the thing that's interesting is both of these teams, their comms are working, and even though they're very, very different. So 16 tiers have been popped up. We do have the ghost package from Leoric, which will
Bless shield
engage. Mew's getting really low, does not ult.
Burrow charge from AlexDidz trying to work their way out. There was a reset for Tatski as they have Vesper Wraith walking forward. They're going to go ahead and pop the Entomb. They find the kill. They find a fort. Deathwing is free pushing in top lane. You can see that on your minimap. Molten Core coming out from Ragnaros, which will force back the enemy team. Looks like they're also trying to get some damage onto the Sentinel camp that is pushing into lane right now. But this is I mean, I'm just going to jump over really quickly. Deathwing is going to get a keep off of this. They didn't go burn beneath my shadow, so they don't get the reset on Cataclysm. That is a 100-second cooldown regardless. As now Aullora comes out of this. The keep is still up and available, but it's going to be targeting the Sentinel camp. They're going to try and stagger out a death here, which is a very smart move from the KTLs, meaning that now it's still going to be 4v5 as they're pushing this bottom lane. But I'm saying 3v5 because, well, the Turk was actually pushing the keep in top lane. So it's going to be a keep for a keep, but also quite a few kills once again over to the KTLs. But we are even on experience. And I know we typically jump into comms once a game, but do you want to try and jump into the Upstanding Citizens once again? Because they just had a couple members go down, and that's another objective.
And they just hit 16, so I'd be interested to see what they're doing right now.
We want you so bad, dude.
Oh, I know. They're not going to have me, though.
Okay.
Maybe they will.
No,
Yeah, they will.
no.
Oh, fuck.
Unlucky.
Now Turk's dead.
Turk's not dead.
Okay. Shit, am I dead?
Oh god. Can you jump over that?
We might actually be okay if we can disengage here. Oh, Turk's so close to not dying. Okay, don't die. Don't die, Alex. Oh, huge lava wave. Finish that and then get out.
Dude, I can't finish shit. I don't know. I suck.
Well, you go for the wrong guy.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. We're winning on macro. Like, I know this looks weird, but we had a huge wave pushing top. Like, things are actually not going that bad for us here. We just can't.
That lava wave! They would have lost the game right there. They lost two people, two very important people, and a lava wave just did 60% of that entire team's health, followed by taking out their Leoric, immediately stopped what would have been the end of the game and the end of the series. That was an amazing lava wave.
I'm still like, that last engagement was just absolutely wild, the back and forth. Just quickly to update anyone who's wondering about questing talents, all of Ragnaros's have been finished out, and the Subdue from the Joanna has not been finished out either. But as we noted earlier, you got to hit 4 people with that. Most of these players are not stacking up, but you're still getting the value from hitting 2, and you're getting the 80% slow. Sentinel camp will be grabbed for bottom lane, so they're going to try and do exactly what we talked about earlier. Grab the Sentinel camp, force that into bottom lane, give some split pressure. But also to note, this is a Sentinel camp with a keep down in that lane as well, meaning there will be constant catapult pressure in favor for the members of the KTLs, and Sentinel camp clearing waves very quickly. So they're going to be managing that. While that's happening, actually, we can see the members of the KTLs actually rotating down here. I was watching minimap. Looks like they're going to back off. Maybe they're saying, you know what? Let's get 20s and try and fight them with the talent tier advantage. So while that's happening, they're just going to grab some more camps. Objective is in a bit of a difficult spot for the members of Upstanding Citizens. They have to kind of go to the aggressive side of the map. And so we'll see if they're able to step up here, but they'll mount up, and it's a bit of a risky spot to be in, I'm not going to lie. Also to note, Deathwing, you don't see them on the map because they are currently in flight up above us.
Upstanding Citizens really shouldn't push this objective. 20s are almost on the way of KTLs, and they can survive by simply using another lava wave or another in this case, they're actually using a lava wave just to pressure top. But I believe they can actually survive as long as they don't get wiped here. They just need to do their best at just trying to stall out until 20. Pushing this objective is very, very risky, and it looks like they're going to give the objective over, and now it's just a matter of can they last a full level up to getting to 20, because the KTLs will have level 20s, and then it's just the Upstanding Citizens. Now, I would love to listen to the KTLs. Now that they have this 20 advantage and they're pushing on the objective, is this how they're going to end out this game?
Follow me right here.
Coming.
Look for a blessed shield. I have silence in team now.
Alright.
I have silence up.
If you land,
I
he
can
dies.
root off of it.
Hit Alex.
Yeah, right now.
I got a big one. I got a big one.
Oh.
Alex looks like he's looking for a cocoon.
Sleeping.
He's on.
He doesn't have cocoon.
Oh, okay. It was scary anyway.
Stop, Brad.
Oh, get ready.
Stop her, stop her.
I can kill her out of this. Just don't worry about it.
Don't die, don't die, don't die.
Yeah, it's fine.
Trying not to.
I got a potion back there.
It's fine if I die. I can die. They're so low
Careful.
over here.
Got rubies ready.
Go kill Turk.
Just hit Turk, just hit Turk. There's a bunch of pots near you guys.
I got feared.
You're fine.
I almost have laser.
There's potions
I'm fine.
everywhere.
It's kind of awkward.
I think we should back.
Yeah, this is a little bit
When
weird.
they dive, we can kill them though. They'll overextend here. I have shield in 15. Okay, they're gonna dive.
Yeah, you just eat it. Coffee's like in our back line here.
Okay.
Rubies.
Come on, Great Man.
Kill coffee.
I'm on the other side of the
I have
wall.
shield in
Laura's
4.
over here with me.
Didz is behind you.
Shield in 3. Hey, look at her noob. Look at her noob right here. Noob right here. Noob.
I'm
A
gonna
noob
team
dead.
this. You guys can chase me here. We just core.
Oh yeah, we
Look
probably
at two,
can.
look at two maybe.
Just slow hit the core here.
Look at this.
Lava wave.
Right here.
Oh, I'm gonna get caught. Okay, I didn't.
Look at right.
Deathwing landing.
Alright, you guys can back up.
Potions.
I just got killed. Coffee took me out. Laura's gonna go down.
No, I'm not. Damn it, they're too fast.
Trying to reduce the damage.
Oh, guys, our core might.
I think we're gonna lose.
some
We're gonna lose
issues.
this. We're gonna lose this.
Damn.
We probably shouldn't have gone core.
We could have killed them off of it.
Unless you guys
I'll
want
go
back
fight
door.
them.
They might backdoor.
They're gonna
Yeah,
rush.
they're gonna end here.
It looks like we might be going to a game number 5. I do just want to mention, I mean, LeonBlack called so well. He even said, I was like, man, are Upstanding Citizens that predictable that he was able to call that? But I mean, this is it. Game number 5. That is 2-2. KTL's Upstanding Citizens. That was quite a game. I love that we're going to a game number 5. And that is also the second time that the KTLs have lost in this entire series. And of course it happens in the finals. So that is amazing. But yeah, I just really want to talk about that call, because LeonBlack said, he's like, oh, they're going to chase us after this. And then after they chase us, they're going to overcommit. We're going to then take someone out. We're going to CC someone, and we're going to turn this fight around. Exactly that happened. Exactly how he said it was going to happen. Either Upstanding Citizens are very predictable, or he sees the future. But clearly, both of those were wrong, because even though they won that, he didn't see the fact that Greymane was going to sneak in and take out one person. He didn't see the fact that Deathwing was going to drop down and do half of everyone's health. So he saw some things, didn't see some other things. Overall, that was an awesome game. We do have, once again, guys, wait, have you heard of him? Yeah, we have Trixler back in here to do a little bit of a post-game analysis. Trick, what do you think about that game?
God. The CCL or the Roller Coaster League? My emotions all over the place. What happened in game number 4? Like, it started off so okay. It was okay for the Upstanding Citizens, and then KTL decided, I don't know if you can pull up this clip or not, but Bahamut, but this 3-man entomb that happened in the middle game. At that point, I was like, it's game over. It's done. They've lost. Like, it was a 3-man entomb into an orb build with glass cannon, and they destroyed 3 people right away. It was impressive. You saw the chaos happening in front of us for the next 10 minutes in the game. And then we get what is correct play for a 20-19 engage by LeonBlack and crew in the bottom right, and they get a pick, and it's a 5v4. And somehow, Laura gets off a Molten Core with the help of Turk, 1v9ing on Deathwing, with Coffee dancing back and forth. I think he even taunted in the middle of that fight. And they somehow hold off long enough to be able to get a full-on engage. And I don't know what happened. I am actually question marking in my notes. I don't know what occurred. I have no idea how they defended. I think Lava Wave helped, and I think Orb Build did not help in any way, shape, or form. So I'm going to blame Orb Build for KTL's loss, and that's my analysis. Okay? GG's, I'm leaving. See you in Game 5.
See you in Game 5. Thank you, Trixler, so much for the breakdown.
5.
But I was watching that and I was like, oh man, they're going to get the interruption onto Aullora on that Ragnar. So they're going to stop the Molten Core. LeonBlack was like 3 pixels away from getting the Condemn onto her. It was like, I was watching and I was like, are they going to get the Condemn? Are they not? Like, it was so very close, but I think it was that Deathwing, as Trixler said, Deathwing disrupting and kind of 1v9ing in a sense, was definitely able to force back that team and allowed them to get the Molten Core, and those swings, the AoE damage, and that Lava Wave. I mean, you noted it in game. It did so much damage to anyone who was trying to step up in that lane. And I think there was the I think it's that ending of a big series jitters that I think the team got into, the KTLs. I think they were like, yeah, we're going to be able to go ahead and end this game. But unfortunately, I think they danced around it too much and the pressure maybe got to them a little bit and they ended up wiping right there. So that will be, I mean, how else are we going to end season number 1 of the CCL Paradox with, I mean, it's got to be a game 5.
It's got to be a game 5. And this is what we're going to. We are going to a game number, and I am so excited. I honestly am so excited. I do just want to point out before we are going to be going on a break, but before we do that, Aullora saved that team so many times. If MVP votes are still out, I would highly recommend throwing something over there. Let's not forget Lakefu. Let's not forget LeonBlack, Liam. But oh man, Aullora was on one of the nominations for MVP, and I just figured after watching that game, if you haven't done your vote yet, you might want to think about that a little bit. With that being said, we are going to be heading to a break. It'll just be a quick break, and then we'll be coming back into game number 5. And I'll leave the map to be a little bit of suspense building up. So I will see you guys very soon. Hello and welcome back. And we are on the last game. No matter who's going to determine who won Heroes Celebrity Clash League. And I mean, it is wild. This is game number 5. Both teams have taken 2 wins. It has gone back and forth in literally every single game. These teams are so close together, whether it's the skill of the players that's so close or these shot calls. We've heard 2 completely different styles of shot calls, and both of them seem to be working. Baha, where are we going?
I teased it earlier. We're going to be going to Cursed Hollow. Nothing special about it. We're using the map pools that the teams established here. Teams actually, if you legitimately want to know how we got to Cursed Hollow for game number 5, the teams give us pools. We pull from those pools and we do some figuring out of who goes to first pick and who gets the map pick. So right now, this is going to be the map pick coming out from the Upstanding Citizens pools, but we get first pick on the side of the KTLs, so they can be happy about that finally. But we get bans coming out from them first as well, as they're going to get rid of the Lost Vikings. But I mean, who can blame them? Who can blame them? Turk
I mentioned it during break. I was like, that is going to be the easiest win for Upstanding Citizens if get the Lost Vikings, and Leon figured it out too quick. So that's Lost Vikings out of the way. Urel, let's see. There it is. Out of the way. Mal'Ganis, is that going to be their backup ban? LeonBlack, he knows how to play against him. Oh, that's a respect ban if I've ever seen one.
Yep. Also, shout out to Melissa for the $10 tip, pushing our prize pool up even further. Last week, at the end of last week, we were at $2,662.82, and I don't know how the math works out right now because I'm casting, so that's all kicked in. But I think we might have broken $3,000 here, Paradox. Or if not, we're very, very close to doing so.
We should be very, very close. I mean, we could shoot for the 4,000, of course, but
I mean, push for the moon.
That is a snap pick on Garrosh.
Oh yeah.
Leon's playing it up.
Let's get into this map a little bit here. So Cursed Hollow, it's another, there's a lot of brawling. You have to come to these objectives. If you get 3 of them, you get a curse, and then that means that the minions have 1 HP. The towers don't shoot anything. You get a lot of push pressure. Now, Garrosh isn't the best pusher, but in a team fight sense, he is insanely impactful. So I like this a ton coming out from them. But you also have to consider poke potential, vision, and that's what they're going to be grabbing on the side of Upstanding Citizens. Aulora's going to be going back to that comfort pick of Lunara. We saw her get a lot of good value in the previous games with that. That was actually banned out in the last game. That's why you saw her on the Ragnaros, but even then, still had a killer game on that Ragnaros. But Turk actually taking away that Leoric, and we get the Li Ming once again. We'll see if it's on Tatski or on Kagirii if they swap off. But I would actually realistically consider my healer here, maybe an Ana, maybe take that away from the members of Upstanding Citizens, but it's going to be a Rainer, and we're going to go into another ban phase, so maybe we'll see the ban onto Ana. But overall, strong start for both these teams here, Paradox.
I think so. Honestly, I mean, they're going back to basics. LeonBlack on Garrosh, Kagirii playing Li Ming, Tatski on Rainer. They've been winning with this team comp. It's terrifying. Remember what happened to that ETC every time he stepped up? Instantly died. So the KTLs are going back to what's worked in the past, and they're going to run with that. While on the other side, Upstanding Citizens, they're pretty confident. They just snuck out a couple wins against the KTLs, and I think they know what they want to do here. So, but I agree with you. I mean, any healer can be picked up here. Ana, I believe... I mean, I know Lakefu does play a little bit of Ana, but we haven't seen it too much in the Celebrity Clash League so far. That doesn't mean that we wouldn't have seen it. It does make me wonder about what they might be bringing to the table that they're worried about in Ana, though.
Yeah, because like they have first pick, or I guess third pick, however you want to word it, after that ban phase. The Ariel's actually coming out right here. But so it's just Ana's been so powerful for them, and it would be, I mean, maybe they're just not considering a mage that they're going to nano boost or even get value from Eye of Horus, because yeah, Li Ming nano boosted, terrifying. So maybe they're just worried about that, but they actually respect the Lucio from Moon, as every single time they've played Lucio, they've won in our best of 5 this evening. So yeah, get rid of the thing that has a 100% win rate against you.
That is as really good call.
As we get into this latter half for the KTLs, I think something like I was gonna say Jaina, but that's double mage. We already have the Rainer. I was just thinking of the pairing of that, but either way, still need a healer, still need something in the solo lane up against that Leoric. Interesting choice coming out from the members of the KTLs.
It is interesting. I mean, Rhaegar is definitely good. Zeratul can set up. Followed up by the setup, there's always the taunt to follow up. I do like Upstanding Citizens draft at the moment, though, because Joanna answers the problem that the Garrosh creates, which is he throws, you shield, you walk away, and you're safe. Ariel, I mean, we haven't seen her since the changes, so I'm interested in that. And now we have Thrall, 4-man Thrall, which we saw on Volskaya, did really, really well.
I wonder if we end up getting something like a 1-3-1 sort of.
That is a possibility.
Like Leoric in a lane, Lunara, Ariel, Joanna in a lane, Thrall in a lane, and then maybe you cycle the Lunara out to get the camp, or you cycle Lunara into Thrall or Leoric's lane to go ahead and have them cycle out into the camp. So I actually really, really like the draft on the side of Upstanding Citizens. The Wandering Zeratul, I think, is going to be a scary factor here, but I think in the early game it's going to be kind of stagnant, kind of stale in how these players are going to be going up against each other. We're probably going to be seeing Zeratul hovering in a lane. We'll probably have maybe Rainer in a lane by themselves, then maybe Garrosh, Li Ming, and Rhaegar matching up against whatever's in that mid. That's what I see kind of often at the start. And then I just realized this as I was saying it mid-sentence. Nobody banned, nobody picked, nobody considered globals in this entire map here. And like Falstad's not bad whatsoever. Gus is good, Dahaka's great, but either way, we're in game number 5 here for Heroes Hearth CCL season number 1, and Paradox, take it away.
This is the last game of CCL. On the left side, blue team, we have the KTLs, LeonBlack on his Garrosh, Liam playing Zeratul for the first time in this series, Lakefu on Rhaegar, we've got Tatski playing Rainer, and Kagirii on Li Ming.
On the right-hand side, we got the members of the Upstanding Citizens. We're going to be having AlexDidz on the Joanna. Mewnfare is going to be on the Ariel. Coffee on the Thrall. Aullora on the Lunara. And the Turk on that Leoric. Let's see what happens here in our final game for the Hero. Oh my God. Every time I start to say it, I'm so excited. I can't even say the words, but the CCL. We got our game number 5 for our Celebrity Clash League. We're on Cursed Hollow. This is for all the marbles. All of the marbles.
Everything. This is bragging rights. This is everything. I mean, it really is. And everyone is playing very seriously. We see teams. I mean, it's so interesting because the KTLs have gone back to basics, right? They've gone back to all the things that have worked in the past. They did sneak in as Zeratul instead of Urel. But we have Upstanding Citizens who's trying almost everything new. They have the Lunara and they have the Leoric, but everything else is essentially new. Look at that knockback. He can simply teleport away, but it's going to be really difficult to gank a Zeratul since all he has to do is teleport away. But it is also something that they're not really losing too much for going for that. They are double soaking. Now, on Cursed Hollow, this is a map where there are objectives that spawn on either the top or the bottom on either side's favor. So the first objective is usually in the middle of both teams on the top or the bottom. 3 objectives captured by a single team will then curse the opposing team, turning off all structures for 1 minute and making the health of all minions turn to 1 for that same amount of time. This objective is very powerful, but it's also an objective that requires 3 times that you have to win, making it a great objective for teams that are really good at understanding when it's a good time to give up an objective, because you can give up the first 3 objectives, or the first 2 objectives anyways, without losing any experience. So early portions of the game usually come down to good maps or good camps, as well as good macro. Trying to get an experience lead before the camp or before the objective spawns, and using those camps to apply pressure in opposite lanes of the objective. With all of that being said, we do have both teams getting the camps, the correct camps, at the right times, and they will be saving the rest of the camps to push during the objectives. They will have those experience leads. trades. Rhaegar's getting a little low there, but otherwise they are able to get those. I do think the left siege camp was picked up a little early, as the objective will be spawning at 3 minutes.
It's going to be in the top lane. Typically, we've had this conversation in so many different streams and stuff like that, but oftentimes, if you do have that in the top lane, you want to kind of grab that camp a little bit. I actually kind of like grabbing that camp early, so that way you can cycle to your bruisers and throw that in mid lane, kind of working the same manner as the Sentinel camp, same as the Shaman camps, just to give the enemy team something to deal with outside of the near objective lane. Because right now, I mean, they could just rotate into top lane, clear out the bruisers, or excuse me, the siege giants, and the Coffee's already done that right there. But we actually have both of the mage camps, or oh my god, the bruiser camps being cleared out in mid lane. Leoric is going to be walking on up here to join the friendly team for the objective, as we saw a couple hearths coming out from the members of the KTLs. I mean, this is... It's like first objective, like there's like some stats out there that if you win first objective, you win the game, or if you get first catapult on this map, you win the game. And I think this is really going to come down to post 10 fights realistically, because right now there's a lot of good brawling between these two teams, as we actually have some damage being thrown out from Kagirii in the backline. Tatski trying to put that pepper onto the enemy team with that ace in the hole at level 1. Turk is going to have to Wraith Walk right out of there, as there was Vesper diving in, getting a little bit of damage onto them. But right now, objective phase seems like it's going to be a bit of back and forth, and we have a bit of a pause as teams kind of reassess the situation before they dive in once again.
And I mean, LeonBlack is getting rather low, but again, seen him on this Garrosh before. Even if he dies 1 or 2 times, he's very scary. We did see, I mean, Liam sneaking a kill on the Turk. He did get low, but that is also a Leoric, so naturally, trait value, you can usually get back up relatively quickly, especially the earlier portions of the game. If you shave off a couple seconds, you're pretty much back in it.
And they're actually going to be respawning into mid lane already, as we have the sustained fight in top lane still happening. Oh, that's a really good groundbreaker where they actually get the toss into AlexDidz. I don't think they have an Iron Skin, so they're going to get clapped, and they're going to go down right there. Ariel trying to use the Detainment Strike to force them back. Coffee is trying to step up onto Lakefu, doesn't find the kill. They end up going way too far forward. That's a reset for Li Ming, and at this point, I think this will be objective in favor for the members of the KTLs. Peeking down at Leoric is just doing some double soak. Same thing from Vesper. Interesting that they're having their Zeratul double soak for them, but in the end, I mean, he does wave clear fairly quickly, and they can kind of match that Leoric in a sense. But right now, it's also going to be objective over on the side of the KTLs. We get ready for our next one, which will be in the bottom right of the map.
Yeah, I mean, it is tricky. I believe that Leoric wave clears just slightly faster, but with the new orb system, or at least experience globes, even if you get to a lane a little late, as the minions are dying, you still have 4 seconds to pick up any of the soaks. So even if you lag behind a little bit, you can still keep up on double soak. Exactly what Liam's doing right now. If we do look at the experience side of it, he's actually a little bit ahead in of experience because of the kill that he participated in, as well as that
sidewall, maybe. So I'm watching top lane as AlexDidz got thrown over the gate, but they end up taking out the sidewall. Lakefu and Kagirii coming around the corner. They find a kill on the throw. That's a reset for Kagirii. They throw out more damage. They find a kill on Joanna. And this is just before an objective. They're going to be spawning just as, like, a couple seconds after it. That is a huge win for the KTLs. And I also want to quickly just jump over, looking at Li Ming with 13,000 heroic damage. The closest on the opposing side is Lunara with 10k.
Honestly, I mean, that's the thing, is I've been saying Kagirii is insane on Li Ming. A lot of people haven't been banning it because there's so many other big threats on there, but she's been getting it almost all the games that she wants it. There's only been a couple times where she didn't get it, and overall, when she gets Li Ming, she does a lot of damage and is a big force to be reckoned with.
Bit of a split fight between the top and the objective. We actually have 10 talent here on the side of the KTLs. Vesper actually went into Might of the Nerzim. Oh, they actually blink over the wall right there. They're actually harassing Turk to the point where the friendly team was almost able to get an entire fort. They used Hyperion and everything, and now they're rotating down here. Going to be able to get the Singularity Spike jumping onto them. They see that the enemy team has rotated in, so Turk is out of there with the Wraith Walk. Once again, objective going over to the side of the KTLs, building momentum and building a solid level gap over the enemy side.
Yeah, 1 full level for sure. But I do like this sneaky call. Getting a quick boss, you're down, you know you can't fight objective. Now for this next objective, it's going to be 10 to 10, and guess what? We've got an extra boss on our side. Now, at the same time, even though, I mean, they spent a long time doing that boss, so it'll be easy for the KTLs to also take their boss, and they don't have the Ragnaros to defend against this boss, so it's going to have a little bit of challenge to deal with it. When we're approaching this next objective, I mean, with this boss coming in, I'd actually be interested to see what KTLs do with this boss. So let's head in the comms and see what they're thinking.
It's basically a game if we can. I'm gonna maybe kill Aullora on rotation.
Oh, I'm getting grabbed by Joe.
You're fine.
I
got Moon here, I got Moon
Oh,
here.
nice.
I got Moon.
Shielded. I got Ancestral for you. There you go.
Thank you.
We need a back
Turk in the back line.
No, we're fine, we're fine. Just keep doing damage, just keep hitting them.
I'm running away.
I have you.
We have first.
Oh, hell yeah.
Good job. I need a
Aegis,
tap.
by the way. Did he use Aegis?
Yeah, he hits me, no Aegis.
Lost Liam.
He doesn't have it.
I'm gonna look at Mewnfare then.
We lost Liam. Careful.
Push back
Get
up.
the soak.
I can't help you guys. I don't have
Okay, we'll get out.
Go get the soak, man.
I'm going.
Damn, so close.
Yeah.
So we did see something pretty interesting there. I mean, I do like how calls out what he's getting for his team. He pointed out where Lunara was going to go. He took out Lunara, and at the same time, we do see he's going more of a, again, one-on-one build. He's going Might of the Nerazim. So he's able to do a lot of damage to a single target very, very quickly, but he doesn't have that combo potential. I figured that the VP would have been cool with Taunt.
Yep.
But at the same time, Taunt and a little bit from Li Ming is about all as far as comboing together, so I like the extra damage. First curse got essentially 2 forts as well as a half of another fort middle. It's a pretty good chunk of experience. While experience looks pretty fair right now, remember that the forts increase your passive experience gained by 20% each. So there is a 40% increased passive experience gain from the KTLs at this point in the game.
Yeah, I for anyone that might not know, because Might of the Nerazim is not picked up too often, it's you activate it to cast an untalented version of the ability you used just beforehand, but it also deals 50% less damage. So you could essentially Q, which is your cleave, and then you could hit R, which is Might of the Nerazim, and then you get a cleave off of that. So essentially you get a double cleave, but that second one is untalented, meaning that if you have Rend, which is damage over time, or anything like that, or like the increased AoE, which is a level 1 that they took, that will be not there, and it also is 50% less, but Hyperion comes out, Crystalius is going to be there, there's an Earthquake from the Thrall as well, Leorc is going to be going down, Ancestral Healing will connect onto Leon just in time, as we have Lunard leaping and striking so many members. They actually get the cleanse onto Leon as well. Nobody goes down outside, actually no, excuse me, Leorc went down, and at least in this engagement, no one's going to be going down. I think that Turk might have gone down to, excuse me, the Zeratul, who was over in top lane.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, I will say there is that fort that went down on blue side, so it's interesting. I mean, Leoric does keep dying, gets trade value, comes back to life, but it's interesting how this is going to be playing out. As far as experience goes, I mean, I'm amazed. 7 kills to 1, and experience is still relatively even down an entire objective that took out 2 forts, almost a third fort, and experience is still relatively even. Can we talk about how the Turk is keeping up with experience right now in his double soaking? Yes, he's dying here and there, but oh man, is he keeping his team in this game?
To put it in perspective, because I have the breakdown in front of me, there's 4,600 experience coming in from heroic kills for the members of the KTLs, but that's mitigated by the 5,000 extra experience coming in from the minion kills that they've gotten, and that is exactly from what you're saying. It's from Turk, who's getting so much value. March of the Black King is going to be coming out from them right now. That does give you some healing as you're hitting heroes with that. They're going to Wraithwalk out of there they'll try and Wraithwalk out as they get tossed away, and that will be Leorc going down. While they see that Leorc is being chased and being killed in top lane, the rest of the friendly team is going to try and push up mid, open this up a little bit further, because if they do lose their fort, at least they're opening up an avenue where they can maybe take down the opposing side, and they can be seeing matching catapults. But right now, seems like there's just going to be a bit of a back off. Well, maybe during the next curse phase, we can jump into comms, because right now it seems like these teams are just going to be playing a little passive.
Yeah, and I'm just baffled by this. I just saw the Upstanding Citizens 16 first, but look at this unstoppable Garrosh walking in, going for a throw, possibly going for a taunt, and a lot of damage going off back and forth. AlexDidz does a decent amount, pulling everyone away, slowing everyone, and Mewnfare is doing a decent chunk of damage as well. We have Thrall, I mean, that was a back and forth, but look at Turk getting rather low. Liam's going to see if he can't sneak a kill using Vorpal Blade. He was able to re-jump back on, and now this is going to be a 4v3, but a lot of the abilities have been used up for the KTLs, which means that this could still be favorable for Upstanding Citizens based off of how much damage is going to be coming out. We do see Li Ming just trying to flank off on the side, doing a lot of damage to Coffee, but that damage over time from Aullora is just slowly whittling down everyone against someone like a Rhaegar is very, very hard to keep up with the amount of damage that Lunara is doing. Rhaegar only has 1 or 2 heals that he can do during those team fights that everyone on their team is taking damage.
And I think, yeah, I miscalled that. We should have jumped into comms, definitely. I didn't think we would have a fight whatsoever. But as we get into our next tribute, maybe now might be I'm looking at the minimap, I'm like, is now a good time? Yeah, let's just jump into the comm for Upstanding Citizens and see what they're going to be, what their plan is here as we get into the later half of this game.
We're going to double loss, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Okay, head top.
I'll meet you guys top.
Leoric low middle, we're going to go to the
20 seconds on Earthquake, so we have it if they try to invade, but Zeratil's not even there, so.
Yeah, just run straight there. They're not here.
Got a little quiet. I mean,
yeah, definitely should have jumped in when that last team fight was going to happen. But I was sitting there. I was like, they're not going to take this fight. Why would they? No, but they're making good calls right now. And it seems like the communication's fairly strong in their team. And I got to say, I mean, I'm looking at the minimap. There's a lot of structures down on both sides, and I think this is definitely not one team kind of running the map in any way, shape, or form.
It really is not. I mean, either team could really win this game. The 8 levels are extremely close. Bosses are being pushed in this area, but this is also an objective that can simply be given up right here from the KTLs, because ultimately Upstanding Citizens still needs 3 tributes to get a curse. So this is going to be an easy give up by the KTLs, an easy objective, which is why it's best to not overcommit in getting this objective. Send someone who can deal with Zeratul, but everyone else should still try to get something, and that's what it looks like they're doing. They're sending a few people to go up here, and they'll probably send 2 people over to get the objective. They just need to watch out for Zeratul. Post level 16, he can get rather scary, and I mean, in this build he does need to hit 2 people to get most of his value, so it might actually be better to just leave 1 person on the point. But yeah, I mean, they didn't overcommit into really anything there, and it looks like they are inching a little bit closer to level 20 compared to the KTLs, so we will see how that plays out. As far as level 20 talents goes, Leoric once again has a very powerful level 20. We also have Earthquake again, so we have another very powerful level 20 coming out from that. We have Joanna, who has a decent level 20. On the opposite side, we have Zeratul, who's probably going to be the scariest for the level 20s, and the rest of it is kind of favorable to Upstanding Citizens for level 20s, in my opinion.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing so hard right now. So they were trying to flank into Vesper. They were actually trying, that's what they were doing right there, sitting in the bush, all that, rotating the lane. So there was a mechanic that changed on stealth units. So Toss actually goes out onto Aullora. They're going to have the Crystal Aegis thrown onto them. Hyperion's going to be coming out from the Rainer as well. Leaping Strikes from Aullora to get them to the friendly side. LeonBlack is going to get hit with the Ancestor, and I think that is going to be a disengage. But what I wanted to note is when the stealth heroes had the change, how the Shimmer, was... when we had the mechanics change like 2 years ago or whatever, and towers had true sight, when a stealth hero doesn't move for a certain amount of time, they become fully invisible, and the only way to reveal them is with ability damage or some sort of AoE. But since they didn't see exactly where Vesper went, they were just like, did he leave? Did we maybe not see where they went? And it was just one of those hilarious mechanics. They were just standing still in bottom lane, and no one knew where they were the entire time. So it just really, really cool play coming out from them. But we're 20s up on both sides. We've got curse potential on both sides, and this is looking, I mean, curse potential here in a big team fight could spell the end of the game for either team. As mid lane fork goes down, there's going to be a Warlord Challenge coming out from LeonBlack. They find the kill onto Ariel, no resurrection, and that's a kill onto Coffee as well. Aullora trying to get out of there, leaping strike towards one of the friendly units, but Vesper chases after, finds the kill. Leon so very low. The Turk is actually going to be they still get the kill onto Garrosh right there, but Turk should be getting picked off by the Zeratul. Objective face should go over to the side of the KTLs.
with Ariel dying first, I always wonder, why not resurrect? Because you were CC'd the entire time, was not able to kill Aegis himself. And I always wonder, that's why resurrect is so strong. But, I mean, the Crystal Aegises have been insanely strong. I looked at that going, oh, you got taunted, rip. And so this is going to be cursed in favor of the KTLs. They can open up a win condition here, but I don't believe without getting an extra kill or two or staggering a couple more deaths, I do not believe they'll be able to end the game here, but they can certainly open up a win condition very, very quickly.
You know, they're pushing in. Let's jump into their comms.
Definitely.
Turk's up. Turk's up.
Back up.
Yeah, I'm still
Going to
doing.
back up.
Okay.
Boss is at 19, by the way.
Just do boss, do boss.
Alright.
Just go rip it.
Mm-hmm.
You can probably end with it.
10 seconds.
I'm just scouting them.
They might come.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
get
they're
off
on
the
their
boss. Get
way.
off the boss. Just wait right here.
I don't have rewind.
Just wait right here. Alright.
They're here. They're here. They saw me. They saw me.
Yeah,
They saw me.
they're here.
Oh my god. I'm the wrong way.
They use their ults.
I'm okay.
Maybe it is good. I'm in trouble.
AlexDidz,
Yeah. We're in trouble. We're in trouble.
Let's run.
Okay.
Just get out.
Okay. Their lanes are really
Yeah, save
pushed. Just
them all.
don't die. We're fine.
Let me go do their boss.
They're gonna get our boss though.
I mean, we can poke them. They're pretty low
Strazzle's
still.
on Leon. Or
do you guys
Lunara, sorry.
Go to theirs or us?
I think we go to their boss.
Yes.
Man, that again, it's so hard to kill a team that has that earthquake. You need to focus the one target and just drop them quickly. But that Crystal Aegis stops the focus from that one target, and suddenly everyone switches to different targets, and all of those targets have that shield on, that temporary health. So it's such a difficult team to fight into.
How often do you see Diamond Resolve being picked up from, Hyperion coming out, but I think this is more of a distant, no, they're chasing in. They pop the Iron Skin. They do have the Indestructible as well, so they do have that extra safety barrier as Moon is going to be eating a whole big orb from Kagirii, and that's a Leaping Strike from Aullora. They're focusing onto Leon. It looks like they might find the kill onto them. The armor is pretty good, but they should be going down. They end up getting the kill. But Diamond Resolve, 75 armor for 5 seconds. That is huge to a target that is probably going to be bursted down after they get out of that Crystal Aegis. So really nice pickup, but bosses and lanes going to be managed by both. But I do want to note this really quickly. We do have next tribute in the bottom left of the map, bottom center of the map, and that's going to be potential curse for the members of Upstanding Citizens as Keep in top lane does go down.
Yeah, and honestly, that's a great talent pickup. One thing that people don't think about a lot, Crystal Aegis, you cannot choose when to turn it off. Meaning, against someone like a Li Ming, they can watch and then send everything in right as the Crystal Aegis is about to end, and suddenly you take a full health bar worth of damage. Even if you would have gotten a heal afterwards, you still take that full health bar worth of damage. With that 75 armor on that target, that means that even if Kagirii throws everything out on the target that's going to come out of that Crystal Aegis, they're more likely to survive because they're only taking 25% of the damage.
Well, this could be their curse potential. We got 25 seconds. Let's jump into the comms of Upstanding Citizens and see how they're potentially going to be able to take this.
Control this area right now. Go.
I'm coming. Yep.
Garrosh is probably able to be there now.
There.
We need a wisp like here.
Yeah, I see him. He's fine.
Okay, we can Turk cap. Everyone else zone.
Yep. Oh.
Trust me. Just trust me, okay? You have armor.
Or get on.
Very tanky.
Liam's in the back.
Yeah.
Okay, we're Turk,
Just
you're gonna have to. I know you're God King right now, but you're gonna have to back off. We have a lot of stuff going on right now, and they're gonna come this way. Guard this area.
Yep.
Perfect. Don't die.
No. Just stay on this.
I'm just gonna cap just
Yeah,
to be sure.
okay.
We're gonna win that. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. Do not die. Do not die. Do not die. Turk. Do not die. Okay, charge down bottom and win.
Yeah.
I'm
almost dead. Smile.
You have indestructible.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, that goes a little bit farther than I thought.
Yeah.
Guys.
Honestly, I did not expect us to win at any point. I'd like that to be known.
Yeah, I didn't think we were going down either. Oh, Christ. I'm just glad I don't have to be stressed anymore.
Times right now. Guys, I'm calling an Uber and I'm getting out of here, but I fucking love you, each and every single one of you. And can you give when they do the interviews, can you give them a message?
Yeah, go ahead. I know they won't be able to hear you right now, but just try to give them a message.
Can you tell them this?
Well, there we go.
That's a way to end it.
Definitely. You know, it's so crazy because one of the things that I've read over the past 4 weeks is everyone's been saying how the KTLs are undefeated. The KTLs are going to win everything.
Yeah.
The KTLs are going to 3-0 in the best of 5. The KTLs cannot be stopped because there's no way to answer it. Even if you ban Urel, Liam's just going to pick something else and absolutely dominate. Well, guess what? The KTLs got dropped in a 3-2 in the finals of the Celebrity Clash League. It has been insane, and this has been a wild ride. We will be doing a interview with the Upstanding Citizens, and then we also will likely still be talking to Trickster as well. But as far as the interview, I think we are getting pretty close to heading on in there.
All right, let's jump on into our interview with our winning players.
Alex,
Honestly, I understand.
did it, buddy.
Everyone played fucking phenomenally that last match.
Hello, Upstanding Citizens. How are you feeling after your game number 5?
I'm so stressed.
I'm shaking, man. I'm shaking.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really intense match. Honestly, going into this series, I didn't tell my team this, but I did not expect to win. So
Of
this
course
is a
you
huge
didn't,
surprise.
dude. You toxic mofo. Can I just do it real quick before we get into
Why
this?
are you here?
Can I call out the
Take
good
it away,
players
Trick.
on this team? I'm calling out the good players here on this team that did an amazing job today. Honestly, Turk, great job, man. 1v9 left and right. AlexDidz, you're an insane tank. Aullora, your Lenara is awe-inspiring, and Coffee did wonderful. That's it. That's the 4 best players. GG's, everyone. You all played great. And congratulations on your win. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
I believe the Discord invite was from you, Mewn. It came from you. Don't you remember?
No, I don't think. No.
It might have been after that Hanamura game.
No, I don't. You know, actually, my memory gets a little bit fuzzy after the Hanamura game.
I know, exactly. But no, I mean, this was just such an amazing series, and you were saying you didn't expect to win. What was it like? So you guys, you lose game 1 on Battlefield, you go to Volskaya, and you actually take that game. Did you feel like you were like, well, we're in this, like, we have a chance to win it? Or was it just kind of like flying by the seat of your pants the entire time?
I want to say that my expert shot calls and us really coming together is won us the matches, but I think we kind of just pulled them all out of our ass.
All right.
And,
definitely.
Except that last one. That last one, we did really well. Like, I think that was the best match we played the entire, that's the best match of HOTS we've ever played. Collectively.
Well, Paradox, you got any questions for them as well?
Honestly, I just want to go down the map. I mean, I thought your guys' draft really good. You were the first team to ban Urel, and you're the first team to take wins off of the KTLs. So I'm guessing that was part of the strategy. And honestly, you guys played that awesome. But let's look at Battlefield of Eternity. I mean, your draft that you had didn't have too much race. Outside of essentially Greymane, your race was rather low. Did you have any other sort of focus for that map that you guys were going for?
Well, not to make excuses, but we had Coffee playing on a laptop from his office, and we have a 250 ping player who's currently vacationing in Australia. So we were kind of just drafting around what we were able to play because Coffee couldn't play his combo heroes on his laptop. And I don't value race so much in BOE as I do just being able to team fight really well. And that's kind of what I was going for. But, it didn't work, so maybe it wasn't the call. But we had a limited hero pool, and we just kind of scrapped together what we could make work on them.
No, I mean it went back and forth, but at the end of the day, it didn't work. From Battlefield Eternity, from the other games that you've played with this team, you got into Volskaya and you decided to run with Lucio, with Thrall, Lunara, Leoric, Mal'Ganis. What was your idea there? I could take a guess that the Mal'Ganis it was kind of a twofer, right? AlexDidz plays a mean Mal'Ganis, but you also wanted to take it away from Leon. But what else were you planning with that team comp?
Well, as far as Mal'Ganis goes, it's just overpowered. There wasn't really much thought there. Just don't let the other team have it and take it when we can. And I think once we played one game on it, they realized, yeah, that's overpowered. We're going to not let them get. But as far as like the Lucio team comp goes, so I'm shot calling for the team, and it's really easy for me to just speed boost in, and all of us focus the same target. And I think that was really evident in that map, where we were able to focus fire so well, and we were really coordinated that match. So I guess it was just all about like target calling and focusing.
Oh, I mean, definitely, it did work out. Lucio ended up being so good for you that they banned Lucio in this last game. So I thought that was really interesting. As we look at Infernal Shrines, you guys picked up Sylvanas, Diablo, Lunara, Ana, and the Lost Vikings. And I mean, everything seemed to start off so well. What went wrong?
Are you gonna let someone else? Aullora.
Wait, what? Oh no, I could wait. The TLV game?
Yeah,
Infernal Shrines one. I think we just made one false move towards the end, and it was like Sonya's spear and a blessed shield on Ana, and it was just like that was it.
Yeah, we definitely missed up a few times there. And we weren't on our best heroes. It was a little bit of everything, I think, caused us to lose that game.
Yeah, it was a little tricky. I saw some of those later fights. I mean, you got owned away.
Oh, we lost.
Be different. Yeah, it was pretty rough. I'm gonna skip past Hanamura a little. Actually, no. Let's talk about Hanamura. It was a wild game. We had Turk essentially suiciding in to take their keep while the fights were going on. I mean, what was your plan on that Hanamura game?
Our team plan was basically macro as hard as possible, because we weren't really feeling that we could win in team fights. So we just did our absolute best to distract. I was Lucioing around on the objective. Turk was making as much space as possible, and then we were just split pushing. I think the key moment that game was when Aullora pushed top and got that top keep while everyone else on the team was feeding. She saw a moment and she took it, and that is actually what enabled us to win, because we were able to go straight to the core since the keep was gone.
Yeah, I also feel like they took a page out of our book from game 3 when like we just made a really bad decision. They like all end on our core or something, and they just all got wiped. It didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, they had a faulty core call.
Yeah, I would say so.
Everyone has to throw at least 3 times. So I mean, you know what? They had to pass it around. Mainly on that game, it felt like you guys were just in control. I mean, the crazy part, I think, for me was you guys were down 9 kills to 1, and you still kept up with experience the entire time. And at the same time, right as you guys started winning even a little bit, you guys dominated. You controlled that map. What was going through your mind that whole game, and what were the strategies going through there?
Which map? 9v1 at one
Cursed
point?
Hollow?
Oh, no.
Wait, we were down 9-1? I honestly didn't realize.
I didn't notice it.
I would like to go ahead and point out that I did not take Resurrect on Ariel, because Resurrect is for scrubs.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and say that.
Okay.
This is the proper way to play Ariel. I drafted Ariel because I wanted to push away the Garrosh. Joanna isn't affected by it. Thrall can root it. Leoric doesn't care, and Lunara can jump away. Basically, the draft was working like this. We could eliminate Yrel. We could get rid of Mal'Ganis, but when they first picked, Garrosh is going to get through. So essentially, we just drafted a team comp that didn't have to worry about Garrosh. That was the idea behind it. And we had the Ariel-Lunara combo, which is really strong. And we just hoped that was enough. Because honestly, like, their tank players are really strong, and, it was really tough to get anything done because of that. So our entire strategy revolved around beating their tank players.
It certainly worked. I mean, I just wanted to ask one last question. You went the Crystal Aegis upgrade at level 20. There are a lot of options at level 20 for Ariel that people pick. Oftentimes it's the temporary health. What made you go that talent?
I honestly had a really, really hard decision there, but my main thinking was if someone does get Garastosh, that's who needs the armor. That's who. It's usually going to be one person that's going to die, not everyone. Until we hit level 20 and Zeratul started popping off, but we're there level 20 already. But most of the team fights, it was good. There's one team fight where the other shield would have been good, but it was a close call either way. The armor worked out really well when Turk was zoning them in the choke point by their boss when we got the last trick. And he had 75 armor, and he was just running in, draining off everyone. He forced their entire team back. I think that was pretty. I think he probably could have done it without my ultimate anyways. But that was a key moment for us, and maybe that ultimate enabled it, I guess.
Well, those are all the questions from me. But Baha, what questions do you have? And then we'll get to shout out for that.
I am very simple. I just want to ask the team: did you have fun playing in the CCL?
Oh, absolutely.
Of course. Hello, of course we did.
Yeah, Aullora, tell us. You start talking. I've done enough.
Words.
Perfect.
Other team get wrecked.
Okay. All right, I want to continue talking now. This is why she's quiet during the interviews. Honestly, I was really looking forward to Wednesdays every single day. Or every single day. I can't think. Hold on, there's a noise in my ear. Thanks for the $100, problematic hysteria. Okay. Anyways, this made me look forward to Wednesdays, and I really enjoyed every single game. It was awesome. I hope we do this again.
Alex, I think were you going to try and say something too?
God, I have absolutely nothing to say.
Perfect. Well, on that note, since Turk decided to just fly away at the end of that
Turk
game,
got some stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Before we get to shoutouts, I believe Coffee had a message that he wanted one of you to relay to us. I don't remember what it was though.
That's terrifying.
No, he didn't have a message.
What was it?
You guys already heard it. This is just debate. I get it. I see what you're doing here.
It was something along the lines of "Well played, everybody. That was really good. 10 out of 10 gameplay all around." Something like that. It was really wholesome.
Really
it's
genuine too.
Coffee, wholesome boy, confirmed. But no, the games were a blast. We had 5 amazing games, and you guys are our champions for season 1. Before we let you run out of here, any shoutouts that you'd like to give? We'll start at the top and work our way down with Alex.
Yeah, sure. First shout out to LeonBlack. That guy is a phenomenal tank player. I was terrified the entire night because it was literally me up against him every single time, and against Garrosh. Literally, I'm going to have nightmares about that. That dude is insanely good. I want to shout out to Workhorse and Jules. You guys are the best. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for all the work that you do for everyone. I appreciate it, and the best is yet to come.
Aullora?
Gosh, I'm still shaking. I can't believe we won that. That was so good. Well, thank you guys for setting all of this up. That's a lot of work. A lot of work went into this. Everyone watching, a lot of work went into this. So it's really awesome that you guys are helping keep HOTS from, that's the sound of death. But y'all are doing great. Thanks for having us. Thank you, my internet, for cutting out 3 freaking times. Thank you for that. That was really cool. Yeah, thanks again, Duke Cannon, for the sponsor. It's pretty freaking dope. And I'm done rambling. So.
And I guess Mewn, any final words?
I would like to say that Leon's team was really, really good. Those honestly were like super intense games and the most fun I've had in HOTS in a really long time. So like I said, I really hope that we can do another one of these leagues. I'd like to give a shout out to Turk, who can't be right here right now. Miss him. He played phenomenally in the games, even though he didn't use his microphone. And I hope he feels better after this awesome victory, because he was a huge part of it, and I hope it improves his mood. I'd like to give a shout out to Aullora for playing with the 250 ping and putting up with our bullshit. A shout out to Alex for me yelling at him a bunch because he had to play versus 2 of the best tank players in North America. And a shout out to Coffee for literally almost missing, maybe actually missing his train to stay up for these games. So yeah, really appreciate everybody on my team and HHE for putting on these games for us.
Thank you so much for the interview. Congratulations on your victory. And well, enjoy it, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Oh yeah, what do we win again? Can we go over that?
$500 and 35% of the prize pool.
Good job, everybody.
Well, enjoy your victory, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Bye.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, Paradox. We've had some fun here tonight, but
yes, we have.
Everyone has been talking about when season number 2. What, like, we want season number 2. We're gonna get best of 5s in season number 2. When's it coming? Do you have any of this information? Because I got nothing. All I got is just soap from Duke Cannon.
I mean, the soap is awesome if we're going to talk about the soap, but let's not talk about the soap. Season 1 has been amazing, and it's been so much fun. This best of 5 that we ended off on was so much fun. All in all, it's been a blast. I just love everyone in the chat that has stayed throughout this entire ride, because it has been a wild ride and a really fun one. But I'm really sad to say it's leaving forever. We're going to be done with CCL. Oh, wait a second. There was something we were supposed to show. Oh, let's show it.
Are you a good puppy? Are you a good puppy? Oh, you're the bestest puppy, aren't you? Oh, you're the bestest puppy. Yeah. Wait. CCL Season 2? What do you think? Yeah, sure, why not?
CCL Season 2, guys, will be here April or May, most likely May. If you guys had a lot of fun here, we will be seeing even more celebrities this coming up May or April. It's going to be very, very awesome. All the stakes are going to be much higher than this week, or this last 4 weeks anyways. And there will be a couple different changes coming up from the next set of CCL. Not a lot of it has been decided yet, but I will say that there are very exciting changes, including there may be a little bit of a duration change.
What? More heroes?
More heroes is what we're going to be seeing. But yeah, guys, if you've had a blast during this event, just wait, because there's going to be so much more once we can pretty much just pull in everything that we want to do. This event does not just pop up in a weekend. It requires a little bit of time to get going. But I really just want to appreciate everyone in chat for donating, for subscribing, for just staying here and keeping our viewer numbers up. All of these things made this event amazing for all the staff, all the players, and everyone else that was involved, including the viewers, hopefully. So there will be a season 2 because of you guys, and I just want to say thank you to everyone in chat for the opportunity for a season 2, and I'm very excited for May.
I'm so excited for this already. I'm itching to find out what we're gonna have format wise, who the teams are gonna be, who the players will be, what the storylines are gonna be. And seriously, just backing things up for just a quick second, Upstanding Citizens, congratulations on that hard fought and well deserved victory. There are so many amazing teams, there's so many amazing players, but the Upstanding Citizens, I think, out of storylines, they have probably one of the best, coming from a struggling week number 1 where they couldn't even get their hands on a game, and then week 2 they start to roll it back. Week 3 they look stronger, and then here they put up an insanely strong fight. Give us the best of 5 series I probably casted this year, and so I'm already excited about season 2. But this season number 1, it's something that we'll never forget.
Oh, yeah, completely. I mean, their team really did have such a wild ride. Season 1 looked like chaos. It looked like nobody really knew what doing. There were a lot of people on roles that they were struggling on. By week 2, it seemed like they were starting to get a handle on things. By week 3, they were doing just work. And then finally, in this last week, they were able to take down the team that beat them 2-0 in the past, and they were able to come out 3-2. Overall, I just have to say, this entire season was awesome. But wait, there will be more into the next season. So guys, be ready for season 2. And I mean, bring on all the viewers, because the season 2 goes over well, there may be more. Thank you guys so much for everything that you've done. And that will be closing up the Heroes Celebrity Clash League Season 1. Thank you guys once again.